Welcome to a new era of wrestling podcasts, where the hot takes, fantasy booking, nostalgic trips, and everything that happens in your day-to-day life always comes back to the squared circle. It's the Everything is Pro Wrestling podcast with Mike DeSilva, Josh Flanagan, and Nick Flanagan.
And we are back. Episode 35.
Yep.
35, baby. Shout out to everybody rocking with us so far in 2025. Good balance of people. We getting some good interaction, some good views on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people felt or feel what we claimed last week, which is this is the beginning of Mania season.
Yeah. Oh,
Mania season brings a lot of people that maybe take the second half of the year off, the calendar year, that is.
The casuals.
Yeah.
The casuals.
This is most people I think are from Rumble to Mania is where they'll tune in.
That makes sense. It's understandable.
I mean, it's a fun year. It's a fun time of the year. Rather.
Absolutely.
Like there's some people that may only tune into March Madness.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Like that's
Same.
I follow college basketball, but like I'm locked in for March Madness.
Exactly.
You know.
not for any betting purposes or anything.
No,
Just-
no.
for the love of
not
the
at
game.
all. Yeah.
Just for them
game.
buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
You know?
No, but if I did, it would be responsibly.
Yeah,
of
Right,
course.
Of course.
Yeah. No,
We're responsible
that's-
people sometimes.
You're a dad,
responsibly
you gotta
betting.
be responsible.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Set a budget.
Right.
If I was to do that.
This is all hypothetical.
You only reach into the college fund if absolutely necessary. If you know this 15 is going to beat this 2.
Right.
Facts.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Because then you can
100%.
send her to like the best college in the world when you hit.
Because this is the year it's gonna happen.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I never forget the first time a 16 beat a 1.
Same.
When Virginia lost, I was just like, holy shit.
same.
That was
I had
what?
Virginia in the Final Four that year.
Was
Yeah.
that 2020?
Yeah, it was around that
It was
time. Maybe
2019.
year before. I was gonna
2019?
say.
No, 2018. Because then Virginia won in 19.
That's
and
right.
There was no tournament
Which
in 20.
was hilarious.
Right.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that now. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
It was a wild time. Somebody made their life savings that day.
Oh,
Somebody-
100%.
Somebody is set for life off of that day.
Is Warren Buffett still offering $1 billion for a perfect bracket?
Warren Buffett's still alive.
I was about to ask that same question.
I remember that was like the thing every year. It was
Yeah.
like if you get a perfect bracket,
Partnered with Yahoo, I think.
$1 billion.
Yeah,
Just
it
a
would be-
billy.
You would fill them out on Yahoo, and if you had a perfect bracket, you got $1 billion from
Damn.
Warren Buffett.
And there's always a statistic that it's like you have a better chance of winning the lottery like 7 times
Yeah.
than to get a
Damn.
perfect bracket.
You're more likely to get struck by lightning. It was like 100 times than
Yeah.
to have a perfect bracket.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So that's you know what? As a matter of fact, if anybody ever gets a perfect bracket, I will give you $1 billion.
Sure.
It's on tape.
Right.
It's on tape.
It's on tape. I will give you $1 billion if you get a perfect bracket.
Listen, the problem is all these electronics. These kids don't know how hard it was to have to go into school and find a discarded newspaper somewhere around
Yeah.
or steal one on the way home from school and rip that piece of paper out, and that was your bracket. And
Yeah.
if you fucked it up, you fucked it up.
Having to cross it out with pen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And nothing hurt more than having to cross it
the
out yourself.
fucking worst.
Me and this jackass used to do NIT brackets.
We did a women's bracket.
We
one
did
year.
we did a women's
Yeah.
but no, we did a women's NIT bracket.
Oh yeah, we went.
That's a little
4.
degenerate. Women's bracket I do one every year. I'm all in.
Yeah.
But like a women's NIT bracket.
Yeah, we did a
Yeah.
women's NIT bracket.
We did all 4. We did
Dedication.
the men's, the women's, big ones.
Did you do the
then
CBI
the men's and women's
too?
NIT. No, we
Doing
didn't
all
do
the
it.
invitationals.
Yeah.
I just remember I picked URI to win the whole thing in the NIT because I was like, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, they
Men's,
played UNC
what?
in the first round that year. I remember that.
Well,
Yeah.
they also made it to the championship one year when I was in school and lost to UNC.
Yes.
And they should have beat UNC. There was a very phantom call at half court.
I remember that, but they also
where
played
they
them
lost.
in the first round of the NIT our first year at CCRI. I remember that.
When we
Yeah.
filled out all of those brackets because why the fuck not? What else
Yeah.
were we going to do?
I know.
Yeah.
In
No, we were
class.
all in.
What else are you going
Right,
to do in
exactly.
class?
I don't even think we were in class. I think we just had like free time between classes and we're like, let's go fill out some brackets.
Smart.
Maybe we'll just do an Everything is Pro Wrestling NIT challenge,
That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
I'm down.
Yeah.
right? Because like, I mean,
Just
fuck
go off of
the-
just strictly
yeah.
wrestling storyline based.
Yes.
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 So like your mascot or your coaches or what sort of scandals you've had
Yes.
before.
I like this.
that could be really
Yeah.
So
That
if
could be really fun.
the Johnnies are in the NIT, you know, you got Patino
Yeah.
Yeah.
to root
All
for,
the
and
scandals.
he's the Heyman of college
Yeah.
basketball. Well, he has scandals. Heyman doesn't have scandals, so
Yeah.
he's a talker though. You know what I mean? Like he's
he'll-
like a wise guy.
Yeah.
People talk the pants off of an escort.
He has issues with pants and escorts and premature things. All right,
They're
so
white, and then
Allegedly.
when they're not
Allegedly.
white, they're white. And
yeah. It is episode 35.
Yeah.
Welcome
Yeah.
back. As you can see, our friend here, Flanny, is very excited for his big championship.
Superstition kicked in. Last week I had the hat on.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, well, I got to keep the theme going until we hopefully don't lose. So yeah, just trying to stick with the theme.
Now,
I could have wore another team and I did not want to
I'm actually
dig the knife in a little more, so I refrained from the other football team.
Barca, yeah, that was tough. That was an L. That we're not even going to talk. I mean, we're not even going to go there because whatever. But
I can imagine you reading the text being like, "What the fuck?"
I was watching the game.
Yeah, he's
I've
good
been
man.
getting into
Flanagan's made his way
It's the
into
best sport in the world.
it
If that
really is
game
really
didn't
good.
convince you,
Oh yeah,
that was the most everything is pro wrestling soccer game ever.
Yeah, it was.
There was a lot.
It was because of Benfica. We're going to do this very quickly because I know this is a very, very, very niche conversation we're about to have. Because of Benfica being home, some weird shit happening at the beginning of the game, them being up, they should have won the game. I would have liked to have seen them get the benefit of the doubt or like the universe speaking to them in that game. Yep. But then the universe was like, nah, fuck that. Barcelona technically is the more storied club.
Right.
Probably should have won this game because they were, better team overall. So the universe just swayed it that way, but I hate that it happened. I really hate that.
No, it was. I completely agree.
Fuckery on both sides.
Absolute
Yes.
fuckery. And I think unintended fuckery, intended fuckery, referee fuckery, player fuckery, all the fuckery.
Yeah, just everything.
Loved.
Yeah, that's UEFA
bench
in a
fuckery.
nutshell.
When you get a red card on the bench, that's
Yep.
amazing. Yes, 100%. I think you all probably played well enough to win. Well, no, certainly played well enough to win and arguably should have won because of how well you played and outplayed Barcelona.
Yeah.
But that last just 10, 15 minutes was just utter chaos.
Yeah.
It was just fun to watch.
It was.
Even when we were losing, I was like,
somebody
this is
with
fucking fun.
zero rooting interest, I was like, this game's fucking awesome.
I had a co-ed soccer
man.
game that night, and the referee is a big Barca fan, and he was like, he saw we have shirts, and my last name is on it. He goes, "Oh, you're Portuguese?" I say, he goes, "How about that game today? You like Benfica?" I'm like, Yeah, I do actually.
Should have got a red card right then and there.
Motherfucker.
Should have got a red card right then and there.
Well, it almost came anyways.
Should have scissor kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah,
I was playing the ball, ref. I'm the ref. Why are you playing the ball? It doesn't matter.
I'm also starting to see something that you might have pulled without even knowing.
Uh-oh.
So Flanny, great friend, says, you know what? This nice jacket, this nice chalk line DX jacket.
Yeah.
Sitting in the back of my closet, doesn't fit me anymore. It's in great shape. And he
Oh,
says,
I
you know what?
I know where you're going, and it wasn't that.
He
I know
says,
exactly
you know
what you're going to say.
I'm going to hook up my boy
It's
Mike.
just a great color green.
And
it's just a great color.
And I was like, this is awesome. This is a fire jacket.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
hell yeah. I put it on. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wear it tonight. It's not this. It's not Kelly green.
No,
not.
right. It's more lime green.
But it's still a great green.
It is close.
It was not my intent at all. But I guess that works. I'm
You
glad
hand it to the
mentioned that.
Cowboys fan, and then
Mind
you know.
Games. Mind Games 97.
Yeah.
To be fair, you were the one that decided to put it on.
Yeah.
No, I know.
This is true.
But this is like reverse psychology type shit. You know
I
what
wish I
mean?
was
So-
that bright.
No, but I low key respect it. You know what I mean?
That bright.
I'm gonna give you a BWO jacket if the Cowboys ever happen to make it
I respect
to
it.
the
I will
NFC
gladly- I will
Championship
wear that
game and be like,
proudly.
"Hey man, dude, this doesn't
Yes.
fit me."
You know, in 30-25, he'll give you that jacket when the Cowboys are in an NFC Championship.
When they figure out how to live forever,
Right.
And maybe the Cowboys in my forever lifetime will ever.
Yeah, either that or God forbid I have some sort of traumatic injury and my brain goes back to like 94, 95.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's
just
like 50 First Dates.
Yeah, 100%.
Except you think it's like the mid 90s,
Yep, that would
and the
be-
Cowboys are just against the Bills every year.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But the actual mid-90s, not the lackluster movie.
Yeah.
No, not the lackluster movie. No,
Yeah.
like the actual
The actual awesome mid-90s.
yeah, like the Cowboys.
Like, you'll think Nirvana's still a thing.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
Yeah, Dookie.
I
Right.
will argue the mid-90s is arguably the best time frame ever.
yeah, that,
I'm saying this as a biased kid
Right,
who
yeah, I mean,
all of
we
the
were-
things I love in life happened in the mid-90s.
Right.
It will be my life's work to make a documentary about the year 1996.
oh, okay.
Great year.
For some reason, the year
Okay.
1996 is like the most pivotal year in my life. I don't know why. I think part of it is because that's when the boyhood dream came to
Fair.
fruition
Yeah.
in WrestleMania 12. So that is like at the top of the list. Then I think of the Olympics in 96 in
Yep.
Atlanta. My favorite pair of sneakers of all time, Nike Air More Tempos, came out in 96. So many things, as I go back in history, music, great albums, so many things happened in the year 96. I'm like, I should really make a movie about
Bulls
this.
against the Sonics.
Bulls Sonics. Like
Sonics.
so many great things happened in 96.
Is that when you became a Sonics fan?
Around then, yeah.
Because that's around the time that I became like that was the first year that I actually remember watching. That's why I'm a Bulls
Right.
fan. And I've talked about this. Bulls, Red Wings, as you could see in the background behind Flanabam there. I was a child of the 90s.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Cowboys thing was a coincidence because my dad's been a Cowboys fan since he came to this country in '68.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
That
So
makes
that's
sense.
just
Kind of a
that's
child of the
generational.
70s when their first boom
Right.
was. That makes sense.
But like the only like the Cowboys and the Red Sox are life. Like as far as like outside of soccer, my fandom goes. Red Wings, Bulls, still like them a lot. I also like the Bruins and the Celtics. You know what I mean? I'm not like a hardcore You know, if any of those 4 teams succeed, I'm happy, whatever. But Cowboys and Red Sox, non-negotiable, you know. And the fact that I respect this man so much that I would be happy for him if the Eagles win.
Wait till he opens up the jacket and sees the line.
It's just Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I scribbled it in the car.
Right.
It's a stick figure.
All of the games the Cowboys lost to the Eagles. But, like, it's similar. So, for example, the Yankees, I think, are the only team that I would never... Like, you guys were here during the playoffs. We were recording a show, and fuck the Yankees. I never want to see them win ever. The Eagles, I do hate. I do hate the Eagles.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you should. You should.
But it's not with the same burning passion that I hate the Yankees. So if you win, I'm happy for you because I respect your fandom and I understand the fandom. Well, the Niners... The rivalry was when we were little, and
that rivalry's been gone.
Such
That's
a
been
90s.
gone.
It was the epitome of a mid-90s rivalry.
Exactly.
So like I would have been happy
Deion
for you to
going
win.
from one to
I
the
was
other
rooting for you to
was-
win these past 2 Super Bowls.
I was too, actually. Yeah.
Even against the Ravens in 2012.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much
You guys-
was.
fuck
I
you
very
guys.
much wanted Colin
I was-
Kaepernick to win that.
I
And in
was-
hindsight, I fucking even more so wish
Right?
he would have won that damn Super Bowl.
Yeah. So
It was
Ray
all,
Lewis doesn't get to go out on top.
The lights went
Yeah.
out and everything changed.
Beyonce.
Interesting.
Wow.
What actually changed for the better for us?
Yeah,
We were getting our
I know.
asses
It
kicked
was
before the
ugly.
lights went
It
out.
was really ugly at that point. But
Who was the kick returner for the
Kobe Jones, R.I.P.
God rest
Oh, that's right. I
his
He
soul.
died
forgot about
last year, I
that.
think.
Oh my
Rest
God,
his
I
soul.
forgot about that.
Remember that little Tomlin thing where Tomlin might have tripped him?
Oh,
Yeah.
I may have
Might
his
have
foot out.
absolutely tripped him.
Accidentally tripped
Yeah.
him.
Good times.
Would love to trade for Tomlin as a coach for the Cowboys, but I'm not even going to talk about the Cowboys
God.
coaching
Yeah.
carousel
That
right
would
now.
be awesome for you guys. The problem is that wouldn't work. Him and Jerry Jones would
Oh,
not.
God.
They would
I would
clash.
pay
No,
to watch
no.
that.
That's
He
why
would-
the
he
names
might-
being tossed around.
There
are
might
the
be a
names.
racial slur thrown around in that first meeting.
Yeah.
That was left.
Gets caught on like the ring camera.
I think there might be one thrown around in that meeting,
Yeah.
if not more.
It's gonna feel
Jerry.
like it's like Hogan in a hotel room.
Yeah,
He might just hire Hogan and just be like, fuck this shit.
that would be the best thing.
And
Going
that would
full
also
heel.
be so American.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my God, America's team,
America's team
sponsored by
with the
America's
real
beer.
America beer.
Oh my God.
And on this week,
When he wants to make America great again.
No, sign me up.
Good God. No, do not sign me up.
I would love. I would
would be the
love
best.
this. It would be so great.
Man, fuck you guys. I'm over here praising you guys. I'm like giving you credit for your teams
I'm
being successful
sorry.
and
I'm
like,
sorry.
you know, I'm trying to be the
I will
like,
say,
the
Mike,
bigger.
it's your team, your fandom, and we don't get to choose these things, right?
Right.
But like, it's not indicative of the man you are. You deserve better than the Cowboys and Jerry Jones. You do.
You do.
I think that's why I get so frustrated is because I'm not your stereotypical Cowboys fan.
Right, yeah.
Like I don't want it to be us every year. I don't expect it to be us every year.
Right.
I don't say we're America's team.
You don't
Like,
say this is our year.
I don't say
I've
this is
actually
our
never
year.
Heard you say that?
I don't think we're better or bigger or anything. I just you know the brand is what it is.
Yeah.
I get it, and I hate it.
Right.
Because when we were talking about it the other day, I used to have some other I have some other friends who are also fans of non-local teams. You know, whether it be the Dolphins or whatever, Eagles, and they don't get a percentage of the hate that I get. Right.
No.
Not even a fraction of the hate that I get.
No.
And we are a threat to nobody.
Right.
Clearly, we haven't been successful in almost 30 years.
Right.
So
That's the baggage that comes
But
with it.
it's the shit that
Yeah.
that's what gets frustrated because I'm like, bro, I love my team so much, like I love them, and like it's like a family thing, and I got to deal with it every year.
Right.
Kudos
I
to you
just-
for not jumping ship.
Yeah.
No, hell no,
absolutely.
never.
Respect
People
it.
would
No,
jump
never.
ship.
Respect that.
But
Most
I am
people
giving
would
my
jump
daughter
ship.
the option.
Yeah,
I'm letting that be
as
known
you
now.
should.
She has an opt. She has an
As
opt out.
You should.
Yo,
She has an
absolutely.
opt out in the
Absolutely.
contract. She can.
She's
she
got
can
the money
decide-
in the
Well,
bank.
let
She
me-
can
yeah,
cash
yeah,
in
yeah.
at any
She can
point.
decide not to be a Cowboys fan.
Let me know when signing day is, because like, you know,
Yeah,
there's gonna
I
be
know.
some
I
pitches
wouldn't
made.
even hate
Make a
it
pitch.
There's gonna be some pitches made.
because
She
as
can't be the
kids,
Patriots.
as
Right.
kids,
I
you
think
had
we
success.
can all agree to that. She
Yeah.
can't be a Pats fan.
Yeah, I'd rather she be a Cowboy fan than a Pats fan.
You know what, man?
Pats
I'm gonna.
fan.
if I'm gonna be.
No, like-
you want me to be like real for a second?
You gotta be a real dad and obviously support whatever she picks. Obviously,
I'll support whatever she picks, but like I'm fucking mad. I couldn't be a Patriots fan the
Well,
last
yeah,
30 years. Come
that
on,
makes
man.
sense.
It would have been the
that makes sense.
most
But it would have
fun
been
of
too
my life.
easy. Would have been too easy, man. Too easy.
Right.
Also, they suck because I vividly remember, and I have in my brother tells me this all the time about my uncles who, in the 70s and 80s and 90s were Raider fans or Niner fans or every other team but the Patriots because they sucked. And
Right.
then 2001 comes around. I've been a Pats fan my whole life.
Yeah, I
no,
had
you
season
just lived
tickets
here
when they
your
were
whole
at
life.
Schaefer Stadium.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's the shit that annoys me. But I also think as Yankee fans, for the
Oh, it's
greater part of the
absolutely just as
2000s,
bad.
outside of what 2009, like. There hasn't been many positive years, but
been
we still got
beautiful.
the same amount of hate because the evil empire
Right.
comes with the territory.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So-
Exactly.
It's beautiful.
That's
We're
why
still
the
in that
Cowboys are football's Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they are. They are 100%.
As are the
Lakers.
Patriots now,
basketball's
too, though.
Lakers.
Lakers
and,
are
know,
same
usually
thing.
Duke is thrown in that.
Right.
Yeah, it's yeah. I check a couple of those boxes.
Hockey's
but
like the one sport
I don't
that
wear
doesn't-
jorts past my knees anymore. So
Yeah. Well, they might be back. You never know.
yeah. Oh, it's definitely
Might be back. They
It's
make
definitely back.
it's all that to say,
Everything
fandom, everything
right.
is pro wrestling.
All that to say, did you see the video of the Philly mayor?
No.
She misspelled
She
Eagles.
misspelled Eagles. She tries to do an Eagles chant, and it's E. How does she do it?
E-G...
No, I think it's ELGSES.
They got-
Elxes.
I hope they throw snowballs at her this
It was
Sunday.
so
Yeah.
good.
That's so disrespectful.
If they lose, 100%, they're gonna impeach her.
They
I don't
will
even
do
know
a
if you,
lot worse.
can you impeach a mayor?
They will try.
Oh,
yeah,
The
you
city
can
of
impeach a
Philadelphia
mayor.
will try. Absolutely.
Which I do love the city of Philadelphia.
It's a beautiful city.
Yeah, I had a great time there.
It's a beautiful
for
city,
Mania
man.
last year.
That city's about to get destroyed this Sunday, regardless of what happens.
Regardless, yes, regardless. A lot of light poles. They got to grease them up, and
Yep.
it won't matter.
All of the horses have to be left
Yes.
inside.
Oh, that was another thing I got shit for this week. 2 NFC East teams in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah,
So
that
like my
doesn't
friends
help.
were like,
That
"Oh, the
doesn't-
Cowboys fans must be livid." I'm like, "Bro, what?"
Yeah, you've had how many
I'm just watching
quarterbacks
football,
in
man.
Jim Daniels
Right.
1 year. Yeah, I know. This is it.
All right. Well, we know I suck. Shout out to the Eagles. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck
Thank
this
you.
weekend.
I feel
Genuinely.
good. I feel good.
I genuinely mean that.
Yeah. I
35.
do too.
Come on. It can't be the Chiefs.
It can't be the Chiefs.
And I think you both agree. No slight to the Redskins because they, Clay deserve to be here. I think we can all agree we have the best chance to beat the Chiefs and/or the Bills in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yes,
100%.
yes.
So
yes.
I don't think anybody wants to see maybe more Bills. I mean, even
I would
me.
love to see the Bills.
I certainly don't have any hate for the Bills. Certainly, they are as much wrestling culture in football as anyone.
Yes.
So no hate towards them. But as I mentioned, and I'll say it on here on tape, so it lives in infamy. I would prefer to play the Chiefs because I really want to beat the Chiefs. Not saying it's going to be easier to play the
crazy thing
Chiefs
to say.
or they're 12th man in the referee if I subscribe to that, which I purposely haven't. But if things, well, I should because we got screwed 2 years ago by a very phantom pass interference call. But I would just love to beat the fucking Chiefs. I would love to be able to say the 2 Super Bowls I saw were beating the fucking Patriots
Well, that
and then beating
alone
the
is-
Chiefs like that. And that's the
Yeah.
trump card I have with
Yeah,
everyone. It's like,
forever.
oh, and granted they beat us once, but we beat them, so you can't really say anything to
Right.
me as a Patriots fan.
Right.
Damn it.
I can tell you though, as a fan of a team who's lost to them twice,
I know,
losing to the
I
Chiefs
know,
twice
I know.
is rough because then you can't.
Yeah,
live it
no,
down.
I know there's
It's
really
there
not much you can
forever.
say.
You
Yeah.
can live down one of them. You can kind of be like,
And
they
that's
got
the thing
the
with
better
the
of us.
last one because of how close it was because of that call. And I honestly, I have not been one of those people. It's like that's why we lost. No, again, there's so many other calls, different things. You could have not been in that position. Whatever, we should have won the game, etc. Whether the call was phantom or not. But if we were to lose to them a second time and it wasn't some bullshit, that would suck.
It's just
Fucking
it's
suck.
rough. Especially when you just lose and there's nothing
Yeah,
to be
I
like,
know.
oh, if this doesn't
Yeah,
happen,
there's no bullshit.
When you just lose, you're just like, fuck.
Yeah,
this
no, that would
sucks.
suck. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
We got to get there first.
We're-
gotta get there
Can't
first.
relate.
We're a year later. I still haven't gotten over last year's Super Bowl.
I don't blame
like, It's
you.
still
I
like
don't
football
blame
this
you.
year just fell off all
Don't
year. I
blame
never
you.
got into it this year. Like even before the season
That makes
started,
sense.
it never hit me the same.
That makes sense. That was me. That was me. Yeah,
Going into last
going
year,
into
yeah.
last year. That's how I felt. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's football season.
I've never. This was the worst though. Like all the other Super Bowl losses, I went into it be like, no, you know what? This is going to be a good year, and
Yeah,
I'm
because
pumped for it.
I
And then
I
this year,
still
was
think
just-
to this day that you were the better team.
I do too.
100%.
Yeah.
Like
Can't
53,
believe you guys lost
1
that.
through 53, the
I'm
better
right
team.
there with you.
Also, you got a very. It's the MAGA guy. Maybe that's
Right.
it. Maybe get rid of that guy.
Yeah, but yeah, well, I
His
mean,
all pro abilities.
he's really fucking good. So maybe don't get rid of that guy.
That could be it.
I can't relate. I want that on record. I cannot relate to this conversation. So
Listen, Dion's gonna bring
fuck
you
you
back
both.
to the
Dion,
promised
I don't
land.
even-
I would love for them
Oh,
to hire.
I-
Like genuinely, I actually think he'd be good. I think he's been great at Colorado.
He has, but him and Jerry, and granted, that might be one of the few people in the world, certainly of that skin color, who Jerry would maybe listen to.
Yes.
But give me the reality show, give me that hard.
Because
knocks.
Jerry would think it would make him look cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Jerry would think.
But
Dion
I do
would
think
make him look
ultimately
cool.
it would probably blow up in their face.
I mean, down the road, but I think
Yeah.
it could be successful.
Sadly, and
first.
I said this about the Raiders for a long time. Until Jerry Jones dies,
Yeah,
I don't know that much is going to change.
Same.
And he's pretty much said that.
Yeah.
He's like, I bought the team so I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Right.
So
The fact that he
Yeah.
has said if a different general manager has had the success he's had as general manager, he would have fired them
Yeah.
by now is a real statement of maybe hire an actual
hire
GM,
somebody.
dude.
no. Pride over success.
Everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
That's the billionaire way.
Yes, it
I
is.
also think he
billionaire
doesn't like he has Super Bowls, so he doesn't care anymore. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think.
true. But like, damn, those.
No, I
rings
think
are-
he does. Yes, he can say he has those, but I think deep down, it eats at him as much as it does his fan base that we have had no success pretty much for 30 years.
I think it definitely eats at the fans more than him.
less than a hand. You can't even count on one hand. I mean, you can count on one hand how many playoff wins you have since
Right.
1996, and that's fucking pathetic.
Oh yeah.
No.
From a team that's supposed to be, like no budget, no whatever, you know,
Yeah.
the salary cap and all that stuff. But it's supposed to be an attractive place to play.
Right. They're supposed to be all in this year.
Yeah.
And it is. I
No
mean,
clutch
it's
gene.
Dallas is a beautiful city. You have state-of-the-art stadium. You have no state tax. Like, there's a lot of things that would want to bring you there, but here we are.
It's sad. It's a sad existence that I have when it comes to the NFL and my sports fandom there. But I did win my Dynasty Fantasy Football League this year, so fuck everybody else.
You know what, though? At least you've seen your a team you root for win a championship in the past 15 years.
That's true.
Literally the 09
Yeah,
Yankees is
09's
the last time
time.
I, as a sports fan,
Yeah,
have
the Red
seen
Sox.
success.
Yeah, Portugal winning the Euro Cup is the number one
That
for me
was-
of all
yeah,
time.
I
That was
imagine.
the biggest sports moment of my life. Red Sox 04, 07, 13, 18 has been nice. Those were a lot of fun years. Red Wings 08, and then the early
Yeah.
2000s, late 90s.
Yeah.
And then the Bulls. I mean, and the Celtics. I've been able to enjoy. I was able to in the Bruins in 2011. Like I was able to enjoy that with my friends because I
Right.
don't have like a super
Yeah.
passion, like towards hockey or super passion towards basketball. I enjoy the games and
Right.
watching them, and I root for those teams. But I live and die by the Cowboys. Live and die by the Red Sox, Benfica, Portugal soccer. That makes my life.
Right.
So when they succeed,
Yeah.
it feels
No,
like
it's different, yeah.
yeah,
It
it's
hits
different. So yeah, that's fandom 101 to start
I
your
haven't
show
seen
today.
a team of mine win a championship since I was 19.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. It's a long-ass fucking time ago.
This is the year, man.
This is the year.
It comes back to the Bronx.
Nah,
This is the
fuck
year.
that,
This is the
dude.
year.
Hell no.
I
Oh,
am
yeah.
on record as saying I'm glad they didn't pay Juan Soto because all
Same.
that money they saved on Juan Soto
They got
and
better-
built up the rotation and the utility guys and everything they needed, I think just makes her a better team. Now, granted, Juan Soto's Juan Soto. Yeah.
The
I
Dodgers are
get
gonna
it.
win
But,
anyways.
like, I have problem. Fuck
I mean, possibly because they're
Yeah.
fucking loading up.
they got
too.
the pipeline.
They're just buying
Bastards.
everybody.
Yeah.
Sports
Really need
talk.
to be my Devils, though. That's the one I want the most
Yeah.
right now. And I don't think it's
I
going to
know.
be them this year.
Oh,
Marty
3 was the last
deserved
one for
one.
them?
03 was the last one. Yeah.
Did we watch that one together? When they beat the Ducks?
I don't think so. I have memories of us watching the Tampa Bay Calgary one
That's
together.
what it was. Tampa Bay, Calgary, yeah.
Marty
Martin,
St. Louis.
Yeah.
I do remember us watching 2012 together where they lost to the Kings.
Yep. I do remember that as
That
well.
was fun.
Their their goaltender. I know I'm using soccer terms for hockey. Jonathan Quick, UMass alum. Remember that? My buddy used to smoke weed with him. Back in the
That's
day.
pretty sick.
So, yeah. Nice little,
The night before he won.
nice little local connection there. Little marijuana.
Brings
Sports
us all
talk.
together.
It does.
Start
It always
35. Do we have one athlete 35 just to wrap up athlete talk?
Kevin
does.
Durant.
Kevin Durant. I was going to say Corey Schneider because I just talked about the Devils.
Yeah, there you go.
He was their goalie for a
Yeah.
while.
35 for me. God, I feel like there's got to be a bunch. Why am I struggling?
I mean, Kevin Durant's the
35 right
best.
now?
Yeah.
Kevin
That's
That's
Durant.
the first one that comes to mind.
That traitor.
I mean, in football, no, right? It's no 35.
35
football. I
such
feel like
a-
it's like
yeah,
a DB, like a
subset.
safety number.
Or
I'm trying to think if there was like a running back that
I was
wore
going
it,
to
but,
say
like, no.
fullback. Like,
Right,
that gives
yeah.
more fullback vibes.
I'm sure there's probably like some big
Yeah,
name we're
there's
missing.
somebody.
And like,
Baseball sticks to me as a number 35. Would be like besides Durant.
Yeah.
Shit.
Anybody who's like
There's gonna be an obvious one that we're forgetting.
we're
for
missing,
sure,
yeah.
you tell us.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
Let
guys
us know
tell
who-
us.
Let us know.
You let us know. Shout out to Chris. Chris will probably tell
Yeah.
us.
Shout
Yeah.
out to Chris.
But yeah, man, this is a wrestling show after all, but everything is pro wrestling. So, and it's championship week, so we had to give my boy some love.
Absolutely.
Dipped into the NFL talk,
Commiserate a bit.
commiserate, spread the love, spread the hate.
Sometimes this show is a therapy session. for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
So
Your
it's,
boy-
it's sometimes
yeah.
good to get stuff out.
This is a
It's
very
important, man.
therapeutic, needed week for me. This is one of those weeks where like fatherhood is just heavy this week. Baby's like sleep regression, so I'm like sleep deprived. Honestly, I'm having a hard time even remember what the fuck happened in wrestling this week. So I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
need you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
today because I do know. I watched a little bit of SmackDown, and I'm trying to think of what I would even say is the highlight of that. I
I'll
feel like
be
this is
completely honest.
becoming.
It's a couple weeks in a
I
row.
feel like I mentioned
Yeah.
this last
It's
week.
pretty
I
rough.
have some drinks when I watch SmackDown, and sometimes hang out with people and just have it on in the background. So I'm not always paying the closest of attention to SmackDown.
Yeah, and I feel like-
I
I feel
completely
like I
forgot what it
did,
was
and I
this time.
still don't. I don't
think that
not
anything
much
really
sticks
of
out.
note is happening there, and it's
I don't think so.
interesting
There's really not
that
many storylines that are Yeah.
And even some of the people they've been moving over to
I was going to
Raw.
say, people on the move also has been confusing me a little bit.
Nia Jax,
Yeah.
had a match on Monday Night. Bayley's
Bayley's now on
Raw.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have everybody declaring themselves in the Royal Rumbles for both men and women on the Raw.
How do you guys feel about that? Because I kind of don't like it when they declare ahead of time. I kind of like the surprise of just, oh shit, this person's here.
Yeah.
And then it also does the thing of like, all right, well, I know these many people have declared, so I know there's only this many.
How many potential
I know there's only
surprises.
this many random spots. I wonder who these are going to be.
I
and it
agree,
ruins
but I
a bit.
think the people that have announced were people that we assumed were going to
absolutely,
be
right.
in. So I think it's kind of like, okay, well, we knew Rollins, we knew Punk, we knew Cena, some of those. So I'm trying to think of. So I think this is also a year we don't have many surprises in the Rumble in terms of like older people coming back. I think obviously we talked about the TNA folks who I think we all, especially shout out to Joe Hendry,
NXT,
now the TNA champion.
Right, yeah, shout out to Joe Hendry.
That was also, I think we'll see him. I think we'll see Jordan Grace, even though Jordan Grace just lost to Tessa Blanchard. And did you guys hear the chant?
Oh, I heard the chant.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love wrestling.
Solid
fans.
match though.
It was a good match.
Like, I'm not condoning her as a person, but Tessa Blanchard is a really good wrestler.
Yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes that this chick.
It's
goes
hard.
hand in
It
hand.
is. It's tough because like she is and she was, and she obviously comes from a fan. The best sign I saw was like that it was like Tully Blanchard does not like, or Tully Blanchard doesn't think Tessa Blanchard's a good wrestler. Something like right in the front row. But I got a kick out of that because I'm just like that. People are loud and clearly feeling the way they are. I think coming off the Hogan stuff, that only gaslit some of this a little bit. So it's interesting to see. I didn't think she'd go over on Jordan Grace, but also I guess it makes sense that she would go over because she's coming back, and naturally they're going to build her up.
And also, I think Jordan Grace's contract is up.
I think that's going to be more of an NXT move.
Yeah,
that to me, it appears to be what they're trying to think. Because I mean, think about it. Jordan Grace was essentially one of the first TNA people that wasn't a I know.
I think she was.
I think she was the
Mickie James.
first.
I know.
Mickie James came back once
Came
as
back,
TNA champion, but she had the WWE legacy.
That's what I mean. She had the WWE connection
I
there,
think
where Jordan Grace was
Jordan
like,
Grace is
like,
the
whoa,
first one
kinda
that
like-
had no connections prior.
Yeah, and speaking of, it was cool. Jordan Grace and I think some others gave a really cool shout out to Naomi.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
said none of this partnership would have happened without Naomi.
Yeah.
And I don't think the average fan thinks about that. I even sometimes forget that she
Same.
left and went to TNA for a while. Not in a bad way, but like it happened pretty quickly where she was back and now she's obviously a champ and everything. But it was cool for them to come out and be like, yo, there's probably a lot of people you're thinking of that made this come to fruition, but like, no, she was really the person who came over, did it well, came back, and probably strengthened that partnership to be able to create what we got today. So I thought that was cool that she got some recognition.
Same.
Yeah,
She deserves it.
Yeah, and she also is super proud of her time there. Like
Yeah.
she it's in her bios, like knockout champion. Like she wants it to be known that like her time at TNA, and we've seen it over for decades now. Like superstars that leave, they go somewhere with a name, right? Because they come from WWE, they go there, and then they come back, and it's like they're reinvigorated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they feel better. So, and Naomi is just one of those superstars that, when she went to TNA, it almost felt like it was like, hey, I'm gonna go do this for a little bit, but I'll be back.
Yeah,
right?
it did.
Whereas with like Mercedes, it doesn't. I don't really know. Like I know ultimately she'll probably be back.
Yeah, after her
It's
world
gonna-
tour of belts.
It's going to depend on the
be-
contract with her. She
Yeah.
definitely, and she absolutely deserves it. I don't want to say she
Yes.
doesn't, but she
Yeah.
definitely wants to be the highest
The
paid
highest
women's
paid.
wrestler of all
and
time.
that's going to be hard in WWE
It
right
is
now.
gonna be
It's
But
hard.
gonna
is
be
she
hard.
doing enough in AEW to warrant that?
know.
I don't think she is.
'Cause I don't think she is.
I don't
I
think
don't
she
know
is
how
either.
much of it is her fault. I don't know how
That's
much
the
is the
biggest thing, yeah.
booking.
But that plays a part in it.
100%.
Because if you're a star, you're a star. Like you look at MJF, who was an AEW guy through and through, right? Like he could go and get big money going to WWE because of the star that he built there. You know what I mean? If Moxley wanted to come back to WWE, he was already a star here, a star there.
Or Will Ospreay.
Will
he
Ospreay,
could
same
make
thing. Kenny
bank
Omega,
there. Right.
But like I feel like with Mercedes, like when she left as Sasha Banks, nobody even knew if she wanted to wrestle anymore.
that was the big thing. She
know?
just fell off the grid.
Yeah,
like it
she
wasn't
was like very, and I know she went through some mental health
Yep.
stuff, which
No.
we respect and
100%.
appreciate.
Absolutely.
She popped it up in Japan,
Yep.
and then when she finally made the debut in AEW, you were there,
Yeah, in Boston.
and it felt big. But then since then, it's kind of been like even now watching her promos, I'm like,
Right,
I
you
don't-
stole that person's sign.
I did.
remember
I did.
that.
Yeah.
You put it on my seat. What the fuck you want from
Right?
me?
That's
fair. Now.
But that's my thing, and I'm glad you mentioned MJF because I've heard some of the podcast folks are talking to like, is the stench starting to find MJF in terms of that AEW? Like what him and Jeff Jarrett are doing right now.
Yeah.
I have no interest.
And he
in.
said some fucked up shit too
Yeah,
about the rating, about like a
100%.
company that's not going to exist or something like that. I'm like
And
paraphrasing.
granted, like I know, remember the bidding war of
Right,
2024.
right,
So
but
like that, a lot of that was gimmick, and I don't know that that's really gimmick anymore because his gimmick's a little different. And I wonder because like again, Jeff Jarrett, kudos to you. You're having your last year, and I heard some folks say like you could. In the right place, Jeff Jarrett can have his farewell year and it could go well because he can still do enough in the ring.
I think so. Yeah,
he can
we
still
talked about
do
this a little
enough.
bit last week.
Like
yeah.
he's still in good shape and knows the business like the back of his hand and grew up in it. But him and MJF has no interest. And I think that promo. And I don't know if you guys saw this week's Dynamite, but Jeff Jarrett kind of alluded to it of like getting into the mud and going into a promo he had no business going into, and he didn't. And it was just not his spot. But even just him and MJF together, it doesn't excite me. And I think a lot of what they've done with MJF since he come back just doesn't make sense. I thought they built it up so well with the Devil and where him and Adam Cole were, and turned him face and then came back and it just all went to shit.
Yeah.
And I wonder if now that's going to rub off on him and he's not going to be worth as much in similar fashion to I think what happened with Mercedes when she came back in this new role. It just hasn't really hit. And she's won all the belts. She's won everything.
She's won everything.
She's got like fucking 6 belts on her. Like it looks great.
The
But
only one she doesn't have is the AEW Women's World Title, which they've now made less than the AEW TBS.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I don't even know who owns that.
It's
right
in
now.
there.
RIMA still the
Okay.
champ.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
For
right.
Which-
now, it
yeah,
will soon
it
be
will
Tony
soon
Storm.
be
when she wins
Tony
the
Storm,
Grand
yep.
Slam. Which I think is a good thing. I think that will help
I was-
elevate that title back up.
I was watching Dynamite last night, and my wife happened to be sitting there, and it was the Tony Storm RIMA segment, and I tried to explain to her this to the
Yeah.
I like Tony Storm original, like in this gear, and then because she remembered her in this gimmick, she's like, oh, I kind of remember her from a couple years ago, and then I tried to explain the timeless Tony Storm and Ryan May and where she is currently immensely, and she's just like, what?
Oh,
what the
no,
fuck
yeah.
does any of that mean? And I'm like, you wouldn't get it, and I'm like, but this is one of the best storylines they have. Right
Yeah,
now.
oh,
Yeah.
100%.
And she's
Probably
like,
the best.
well,
That
I
was
just
the
watched
best
this,
one,
and it didn't
yeah.
seem like it. And I'm like, this is kind of the best they got, which is indicative of where they are.
yeah.
Yeah, and just to put a bow on the MJF conversation, because as I've been following him more and more and seeing him and Jeff Jarrett go at it and stuff, and there was a whole controversy around like his comments about AEW as a company not existing or whatever it was that he tried to make as a slight, being that he went back into that like bidding war persona that he had that a couple years
Which
back.
was his pocket. That was where he did his best
But
shit.
when you decide to make him turn face, right, and Adam Cole and in that friendship and right, you need to decide then to be like, okay, this is our guy, and we need to make him almost that tweener, Stone Cold type guy. But ultimately, he's bidding for your company. Like he is like your guy,
Right.
Like he's sticky. He's your DDP. He's your fucking Sting. Like he's your guy that's gonna like. You got Moxley and his crew running amok. And that should be his focus, is being like, dude, fuck this shit. I decided to stay here, so I'm going to be your guy. But I'm also going to tell you you're a piece of shit, but I'm also going to be your guy. And I feel like they dropped the ball on that.
The man got AEW tattooed on his fucking
leg.
calf.
We haven't seen that. Is it still there?
Well, he wears the higher boots,
I'm
so it
just
covers
wondering.
that. But yeah, it could be a
On
temporary.
purpose?
It's possible.
You
it's
can't
temporary.
remove
Well,
it
that
all
was
once.
the joke. Originally, it was like, well, he put it there because you're never going to see it. And it's
Right.
like, either way, if it's a real tattoo, I don't give a fuck if you put it under his foot.
Right.
It's still on his body. But who knows if it's still fucking there.
Right.
I don't know.
There's
wouldn't
a
put
great
anything-
chance
I
that
wouldn't
was a
put anything-
temporary
I wouldn't put
day
anything
of that
past
show.
that man. I wouldn't put anything past him.
Yeah, again,
But, yeah,
it'll
so
all be a
much
part of
shit
the
there.
documentary.
Even
that
like
comes out in
him
10
going
years.
and doing Happy Gilmore 2
Yes.
was a big thing. And like, I guess from like this new generation of like being open, like this is where I guess I give Tony Khan some credit of like letting guys go do that, but also that's your biggest star in the world, and you just don't have him for 6 months to
Yeah,
make a movie when
right.
you're in your most dire times ever. Like, it's probably not a good thing as a leader of an organization or company.
Yeah.
You-
You're also letting the guy that's clearly going to be the next AEW
Exactly.
World Champion go climb Mount Everest.
Yes, I know.
Like
It's just
Darby Allin
like-
is going, assuming he makes it back down Mount
what I'm
Everest. But
saying.
hopefully he does.
I pray to
Obviously,
God, yeah,
Like,
but, like,
he's
what
going to be
the
the next
fuck?
AEW World Champion.
What a mind-blowing thing. You're acting as if you're already at you're at the top of Mount Everest, you know, figuratively, when realistically it's like, no, you still need these guys
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
to get you there.
Wild times. But AEW in a nutshell. Last night was the first Dynamite I watched pretty much from beginning to end. What a shit show.
Yeah.
Like, and like there was some fun stuff like the Ospreay and Omega, the fucking dual moonsaults off of structures was great. But then they climb the structures and Omega gets cut off by his own music mid-promo. He's like, whoa, I know I haven't been here for a while, but I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like, this is a fucking house show for like New England fucking pro wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
what is this? Jeff Jarrett stumbled over his own fucking catchphrase and tagline in his own city, and they were laughing him out of the place. The way it ended, you just know how it's gonna end every fucking week. You got Ricky Morton taking concerto shots in the back, like, what the fuck are we doing, man? Like, it's wild.
Yeah,
Completely
which
fucking
is sad
wild.
because it felt like they were gaining steam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
You
thought
know,
so too.
and we have friends at AEW.
yeah,
we do.
We're
we do.
rooting for their success,
to be
and there's great
big.
people there.
Yeah, but you know, it wouldn't be fair for us to just be like blindly
can't
saying
show
like,
form,
yeah, you know
yeah.
what, show's been great. Like
No.
sometimes you got to be
You
like,
gotta-
listen, man,
yeah.
you got to figure it out.
Sometimes people need a swift kick in the ass,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
AEW needs that right now.
And we need, as wrestling fans, AEW to be successful.
we need that
you know,
competition,
not
man.
only just for our benefit to watch
Yeah.
it, but also like it makes everything else
does.
around them better. WWE, I think, is at a point now where they're kind of just in their own universe.
Yeah.
No
Yes.
pun intended.
Yeah,
But I also do think that still like I even saw today there was a report that this WWE and TNA partnership. That TNA is going to be bought out completely by WWE, and they're going to own the library. We talked about it
Right.
last week. So there's your library coming
Nice.
to WWE,
Yep.
wherever it ends
That's
up,
cool.
Netflix, wherever it is.
More likely Netflix.
But also something to do with preventing AEW from having international like television rights and shit like that.
Right.
So.
This company they don't see as competition.
Right, exactly. But it happens again. This was just a report.
Yeah,
you
right.
know,
yeah,
you know
this
who knows.
Could be whatever.
But we've seen this shit happen in the past. So Tony Khan, thankfully, has enough money to kind
Yeah.
of get past a lot of that shit.
Yes.
And you could keep it alive for a bit. But eventually, like, if you're not pulling in any
And
money.
streaming on Max is a big thing for them
Yeah.
too. 'Cause
Big
that's,
time.
That's
Yeah.
a worldwide thing.
and
so
it's
that
helped them.
helps, too.
And they've been able to get real tangible numbers and being
Yeah.
like, okay, we know how many people are actually streaming this shit. So that's going to be huge, too. That was a good point.
No, that's the thing, and we always talk. They're still in their infancy in reality. So going on year 6, like it's still very new, and they have great people there. I mean, you got Ospreay, you got Omega. Omega looks great. He looks like he's ready to go. The stuff you have with the Death Riders, I think, could be really, really
Definitely.
good if channeled the right way. It just feels like rinse and repeat every week. You know what's going to happen. So it's like you got to give us something. And to your point, like it could have easily been MJF who was the savior. There's been so many saviors. Now I guess I'm thinking it's going to be Omega and the Bucks are going to come back and the Elite are going to save AEW, which even I'm not going to lie,
That's
I don't
annoying,
like.
though.
I don't fucking like.
Because that's the thing is you know, like,
Yeah.
that's the shit that, you know, killed the TNA the first
Yeah.
run with Jeff Jarrett. It's like
Right.
you're constantly putting yourself into these situations.
And
The
putting
Elite-
yourself over. Like people remember these are the EVPs. These are the people who like a lot of fans right now don't like them, aren't really feeling anything to do, and them coming out and saying, "Oh, like we purposely had bad matches because it was part of our
who
gimmick."
10
like,
years ago, who would have thought we would be saying
exactly,
that?
I know they were the
the
fucking
indie darlings.
exception to the rule. It's
Not
just,
even 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was
we
gonna
were
say
saying
5.
that.
Yeah.
I know. It's
Everybody
crazy.
loved him then.
Yeah,
Yep.
but they similar to Jericho. I remember
Yeah.
when he went to AEW, I was so excited. I'm like, wow, they got someone who can actually kind of carry the mantle a
Yeah.
little bit and steady the ship and all that. And that quickly, just him as a person.
I'll say
went downhill,
personally, I
but-
was kind of already sick of Jericho when AEW started.
okay,
'cause
that's fair.
His New Japan stuff, like it was the same match every
Yeah,
time.
him
Like,
being
it
the
was-
first I didn't watch
champion was
much of
also
that.
brutal, too.
So
Right.
that, yeah,
yeah, it
That
shouldn't
was
have been
It
him.
should have been
but
Hangman
I
Page.
understand why they would have done it. But
Hangman, I think they could have eventually.
No,
put it
you're
on.
right.
oh man, they could have
Might
done
have
some
been
amazing
Kenny
stuff.
Omega.
Omega makes more
probably
sense.
would have been the one that made the most sense because
Yeah.
that was like your
He's already
outside
a
of
top guy.
WWE. And then when AJ Styles came to WWE, the last person left to be the guy
Yep.
was Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
He should have been the first champion.
All those rumors.
I
I
agree.
remember being at the Rumble, and everyone's
Yep.
like, "He's gonna come. He's gonna come.
Yep.
He's coming." He was that person. And yeah.
Especially because of how good. Now that I think back on it, how good the Hangman story was when he finally won it. I still think it's the best story AEW's ever done.
And I think he's a star.
yeah,
such a good
100%.
character,
So
man.
like that's
Oh.
you're right. He shouldn't have been first. I was just thinking because that was the match.
He would have
so,
been the
like,
slow burn
Exactly,
champion,
yeah.
right? But like your first champion should have been your
It should
biggest
have been.
star,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
was Kenny
Yep.
Omega.
And that could have been your homegrown champion next. you know?
Exactly. And then you could have eventually worked in Mox,
Yep.
and which they did. I know they were the first. That was their first feud, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
On like the first AEW or Dynamite was Mox and Omega.
No, that so
No,
that
because Mox wasn't there yet.
Mox debuts at Double or Nothing.
Yep.
And they
Oh,
have,
that's right, I'm
They have
sorry.
a match at All Out.
Okay, that's right.
and
yeah,
then-
I remember
then
Mox's
Dynamite started
debut. I
right
fucking put him through the
Because
coffee table.
Yep.
No,
Right. Yeah, I think that's
yeah,
what.
but that's later.
No, I know. But
That's when Mox was champion, and Kenny was feuding with Mox for the title. They feuded, so they were the very first feud
6 years
before
ago,
Dynamite
or
started.
5 years ago is a long fucking time ago. So
Yeah, and wrestling too. Jesus, like fit might as well be
Because
50.
Omega and Jericho main event the first Double or Nothing.
Yes.
And then Moxley comes out at the end of that and attacks
Yes. Yep.
Omega.
Right.
Yep.
And I remember
And then
his
there's no
first vignette.
Dynamite for like 6 months.
Yes.
And then they have a match at All Out, and then like 3 weeks later, Dynamite starts.
Okay. But it was on Dynamite where that happened, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm remembering. It was like an early Dynamite.
Yeah,
okay.
Haley's place.
Yeah.
Could have been.
And well,
No, it would have been in an actual place because
Yeah.
he had to go up through the crowd.
Yeah.
You know what? They
yeah.
wrestled at Full Gear
Full Gear,
2019.
and then
So maybe it did happen in the
it really
early
didn't
days.
end up happening really until COVID, right? Well, no, they went
Yeah.
there, but like that's what
They did a couple
what they-
shows
yeah.
there, but yeah, then they ran there regularly during COVID.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, that feels like a lifetime
That
and
does feel like
yesterday
a
at
very
the
long
same
time ago.
time.
Yep.
Which is insane to think. And,
Yeah.
and I dude, that to me was still the best time for AEW.
No, it was awesome. It
Yeah.
was
So
new. It was
good.
fresh. It was
Everybody
fun.
felt like a star. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I didn't know anything about Hangman Page before Dynamite, and kind of seeing him there, and I became a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we talk about how you should have made Kenny Omega your first AEW champion because he was the biggest guy. The Young Bucks were not the first tag team champions in AEW.
Nope.
It was
SCU.
SCU.
And
Which
that was the right call because they were the most over tag team at
Yeah.
the time.
they were, but like when you're thinking about your stars, right? Like your guys you're kind of
Yeah.
bringing in. But it's funny how they just. I'm just saying, like, yes, it was cool that they did that, but I'm just saying, like, it's funny how they decided to not do that in
With any title.
any of the titles.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have any of your main guys that were like
Except the TNT title because I think Cody was the first one.
yeah, but that wasn't introduced right away, was it?
No, that was
Yeah,
20, that was during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he said he was never going to win the AEW championship
Right.
if he
so
lost.
he needed a title.
So he needed something.
Yep.
Which is also a stupid stipulation. Like, why would you ever make that? Like, this
Yep.
is like your biggest, arguably, one.
Your biggest title.
If not your biggest name.
Honestly, the other guy besides Cody who really should have been the first AEW champion is Cody. Like you could have done
besides Omega.
Kenny.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
that's what I meant. But it could have been either Omega or Cody.
100%.
It should have been. It should have been one of the EVPs.
Yeah.
I mean, since they were technically were two EVPs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's fun to go back and look though,
It is.
because like like we talked about, it feels like it was so long ago, but also yesterday at the same time.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, especially COVID is like,
Yeah.
you forget we're only a couple years out of COVID. It feels,
and they
in some
made it
ways, like
work.
30
So
years
credit to
They
them,
did make
man.
it work, yeah.
Credit to
I-
them.
I-
Like,
that
I-
reminds me, I need to go on Max and like do a little deep dive and a little
Rewatch
rewatch of
them
the
all.
early
Yeah.
days. Yeah,
I felt that way
dude,
too.
it was good.
I really want to go back and rewatch the original Double or Nothing.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
That show was so good.
Yeah,
Like I
that-
still remember the excitement level I
Yeah,
had before
I
that
know,
show started.
It's something we
It was unheard
never,
of.
Yeah.
like we've never really experienced. Granted, there's been
Not here.
new places that have come and popped up, right? But like it wasn't like that where we saw it from the ground up, from
Yeah.
the infancy, from the press conference, from just the talk on the internet, all of that.
It
Good
was
times,
also
man.
something after WCW went away. I never thought we'd see again. I never
Yeah,
thought we'd have
no.
a major competition.
No
like we
competition,
do.
no.
like that,
Right.
Like where it felt like you're watching like a Mania or a SummerSlam of a non WWE promotion in the United States.
Yeah.
Like it just felt
I hope
unheard
they
of.
steady the ship, but unfortunately, Tony Khan's got to find a new head coach and a new GM, so
Yes.
he's gonna be a little busy.
Yeah.
I think he'll be fine. Well, who was the
No,
room?
Shad Khan does that.
Well, does he? Who
Tony
does it?
Khan just
Who-
gets the paycheck for it.
Okay.
Tony Khan just pulls up with
Shad
a
even
fake
did
neck
it.
brace.
Yep.
Just to be like, hey, kayfabe's alive.
But that's the
baby.
best thing he's
Yeah.
ever
but
done.
that
Yeah.
I know was.
Just show up to the draft in the neck brace.
That
That's
was
the
the
best.
most fucking Leonardo pointing at the
Yep.
TV
Yeah.
moment. I was like,
He's like,
what?
oh, I
wait
get
a
it, I
minute,
get it. And everybody else is like,
Everybody else
not-
in the room, like, I look at Doug Peterson, like, the fuck's wrong with this guy?
This dude get into a fender
This guy
bender on
signs
the way
my
here.
checks. What's happening?
Yeah.
Like, good times.
Yeah, I like the little AEW side rant there
Yeah.
though, because I think we're wrestling fans, man. We wanted
want
to
it to
succeed,
succeed,
and
man. We do.
You think about their stars and how like they didn't, Yes, WWE sometimes can shove their stars down your throat, pause, but like AEW will sometimes do the opposite.
The opposite,
where it's
I
like
know.
They kind of feel like they're burying their
Yeah,
stars.
like I look at like Swerve and like the
Swerve
things.
is
It's
a
just like
great
how
example.
quick you go up to down, and it's just like, ugh.
God, he is so over still.
So
Yes.
yeah,
And it's
like,
like-
some of the stuff they do, even like a Hobbs, like you win the gauntlet, you have the match with Mox, and then now he's calling out. I don't even know who he was calling. Someone random out now last night.
Big Bill.
Yeah, like
I remember they had, like,
and
a-
I love Big Bill, but we're going from a title match with Mox, and next week you're calling out Big Bill, like
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no long term booking. Like that's the frustration. It's like
Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs, you can build the fuck up, and so many people say
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I know he's hurt now, so that's why he hasn't been on TV for a while. But look at Wardlow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that dude was going to be a
example.
star.
Perfect example.
And
Yep.
they fucking dropped the ball with him.
Yep. Interesting.
I saw somebody make a comparison that I had never put together before, but I completely agree with, and it made perfect sense to me, is that AEW right now feels similar to WCW in like 93. Where, like
Okay.
there's so much talent there, but
Yeah.
they just don't know
Just
what
can't
to
get it right.
do.
And then they end up going
Yeah,
elsewhere
Oz
and being
and
massive.
fucking Diamond Stud and all these other people.
Stunning Steve.
Yep. Well, I guess it's better than being
Blondes.
WCW in 2000.
Yes.
Jacked
So-
is Jack.
Yes.
That is the I guess the thing to look at. The shining light here is that they're not WCW 2000 at this point.
It's
They
like-
don't have just all washed up fucking
Right.
people.
They're not vacating titles
Yes.
every other week
Yeah,
and
it's
shit like
not.
that.
Anytime
But
I can
that's
bring
so
in the
good.
91 Halloween Havoc electric chair match, I will do it.
Yeah.
And all of those guys are in
Because that match is fun as fuck.
Yeah, it's fun as hell.
Yeah.
We're going to do a watch along one day
Yeah, I'm down.
where
good.
we just order some fucking ratchet ass food.
Yeah.
And we
Get some
throw on
Zaz.
like
Dig
some
it.
old pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Drink some Zimas.
Yeah,
yeah.
fuck yeah. Some Mad
Go
Dogs.
90s as fuck.
Mad Dog 20. what are they?
I'll get some Surge.
Yeah.
Bring some Surge for
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Okay.
Surge.
We'll get Domino's Pizza,
Mountain Dew
Well,
Code Red.
Mountain Dew
Yes.
Code Red. We'll hit up a Blockbuster, the
Yeah.
one Blockbuster that's still around
Oregon?
Seattle,
to go
yeah.
get,
In Oregon?
to go get the pay-per-views to watch this thing.
Oh.
That would be amazing.
And we play WrestleMania 2000 and finish the whole night
Yeah.
off.
Fuck yeah. I have the N64 right there.
Yeah.
What a day.
Not plugged in. I have to figure that out. But
Be great time. Yeah.
yeah.
I think the pieces are there for AEW
Yeah,
to
I
be
think so
big.
too,
They just,
man. I do.
I mean, we've all said it for a long time now. Tony Khan needs to just be the funder, and he needs somebody else to
Yes,
actually be head of
100%.
creative.
He needs another booker.
needs an
man.
actual head of
He needs
creative.
another
And what's
booker.
this Saturday?
This Saturday night's main event.
Yes.
No, I know, but
They have just Collision, but they are, and I wanted to mention it, All In and Saturday Night main events are going to be running on the same night.
Yeah, there you
all
go.
saw that.
There
So
you go.
that
Yeah,
is-
so
that's
that's
going to
what-
be very
that's what I
interesting
saw.
to see.
There's also a Saturday night's main event. They haven't announced it yet, but at the same date that they expect Double or Nothing. to
right.
be.
That's
Okay.
what I read today. Okay,
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
there was something.
That's
going
to
to
be big, man,
Yeah,
because All
Yeah.
In is obviously the big one. It's in Texas, so it's a stadium up against Saturday Night events, which is smaller
Here's
in
where-
structure, but man.
Here's
I'm-
where I think the AEW will still be fine. Until you have something happen, like a major storyline progression happening at a Saturday night's main
Yes.
event, you're not going to.
No, I get that.
You know, because like yes,
It would have to be the culmination of
you
a
had the
storyline.
nostalgia pop from the Winged Eagle belt when Cody brought it back,
Oh, right.
and all that stuff, and the cool staging, and we talked about it, all that stuff. But ultimately, like, do we really expect Jey Uso to be Gunther?
No.
No, yeah.
So, are you necessarily like? Yes, you're gonna watch it, but are you gonna tune in? Do you have to tune in live?
But
for
I
something?
think Trips is going to load the fuck out of that
Well,
shit.
my thing, to your point,
Maybe.
I agree with you. Like, I could care less about this. I'll watch it, obviously,
Yeah.
but I could
Oh,
care
yeah,
less
yeah,
about
yeah,
this
same.
this week.
just for the intro song alone.
Yeah.
100%,
Like, that's
right.
where I'm getting me no matter what.
I'm
But
more interested to see if they keep it retro or if they make it like a separate.
If they
I think
don't,
they're gonna keep it retro.
would be a huge misstep in
I
my like. It should be.
1000%
They all
agree.
should look the same and feel the
Yes.
same and be set
Yeah.
up the same and have the same vibe. I do agree that you can build some more storyline into it, and as opposed to because that's the
Treat
thing
it like
is
a real PLE.
having so many of them. The way they've committed to, like, it doesn't need to be a one-off or an outlier or
Right.
just the big match for the big match. I get why they did it the first time because it's on network television. You have a new audience. You got to set it up. But I think once you get to that point in the summer, when you do that, you can have some storylines that have built over a couple different PLEs, Saturday main events that can turn into a big-ass show. And I don't know that, like, Trips will do it in a vindictive manner, but just because
Well-
he can, I think he might load shit out of that one.
but they're not competition.
No.
They don't.
No, they don't.
Of
They
course
don't.
not.
They don't even think
Of
about
course
them.
not.
Yeah, of course not.
I just miss the days where like a random pay per view or PLE you can see a title change.
Yeah.
I miss that so much.
It's like, you know, when you think back to when we were growing up, I know rose tinted glasses, but like, you know, you could lose on a backlash, and then
Right.
and then you could win it back in a no mercy. You know, you could fucking win it back.
more often you lose on Backlash and then win it back the next night on Raw.
Oh, right,
That's
that
how they
too.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
They need to find a better balance.
There
Yep,
needs to be a
yep.
balance, and I think the Cody thing probably. I hope that Cody is the last in Gunther because you built them up for so long, and they're, you know, face of the company,
these last
monster
long-term.
champion. I want them to be the last of like the long reigns.
Completely agree.
Like we can have multiple. You have enough believable superstars now that you could fucking believe that they're gonna lose. Like I want to believe that Jey Uso can beat Gunther.
Yeah.
I want to believe that, and you can make me believe that.
Yeah, oh,
but I
100%.
don't think he's gonna lose this
100%.
weekend.
No,
I want to
know?
believe Kevin Owens can beat Cody
I
Rhodes
know,
at the
I
Royal
know.
Rumble.
I
Yes,
know.
But
exactly.
I don't believe
But
that.
I don't
Not gonna
believe because
happen.
we're
No.
like, well, Mania. You know, how
Exactly.
you gonna fuck up Mania?
Right.
I hate that we
Exactly.
know that.
Exactly.
No, and I think that is part. I think part of that is just because we're just smarts now because we're
Right.
older.
Yeah.
We know, so I think that's a little bit of. But I miss just programs. Like, I miss 6-month, 9-month, year-long programs where you can drop the belt 2 or 3 times
And
back
your
and
champion
forth.
might not even be on the PLE.
And that's what I'm saying.
You know?
Like, I miss that. Where, like, yes, we're going to go and we're going to face each other at Rumble and then again at Mania and then at SummerSlam and at Survivor Series, and it's going to be this program, and you're going to drop here and I'm going to drop there, and it can still be fun because you don't know. Maybe this is the night it drops. Maybe not. Maybe he won last time, so he keeps it again. But it kept it a little more fresh. And again, we were younger, so we didn't know as much, but I miss that. I miss those longer bills and those things where you can, I think, can have that. I think when you have these just 3-month, 3-match total programs, you're not going to see that happen as much. It might happen just that one time with a payoff.
I think Triple H is good at doing long-term stories.
He's so much better at
but
those
he's not,
sorts of things.
He's not good at having the titles change hands in those stories. It's always the
Yeah.
one champion throughout that whole 6 months, and it's like it doesn't
And like,
need to be
there's
that
some
way.
storylines where I think that is nice,
Yes.
right? And you think of like if it's Sami Zayn chasing, and like, all right, he might lose 3 times in a row, and then you get that big crescendo pop. But maybe that doesn't have to happen at Mania.
Right.
Maybe
Who's the
can
person that
happen
had
at
that belt
next
the
one.
longest?
Triple H.
I think Austin. Well, no, it would have been Triple
I
H.
think Triple H, right?
Yeah.
And how
the
long
long
was
run.
that?
He had a long run in like the 2000s, 2001, something like
Well,
that.
2000, yeah, when Stone Cold was hurt,
Right.
and they had the whole corporation, like the
Because so he's champion so he wins it at Survivor Series 99. No, he wins it the Raw after Survivor Series 99 because Austin didn't want to drop it to him.
and that's when Austin went away
And then, yeah.
because the Rock. And,
SummerSlam 99, not Survivor Series. He wins it the night after Survivor Series 99 because Austin didn't want to drop it to him. They made it a triple threat match. Mick Foley wins.
Right.
And then drops it to him the next night. And then Big Show wins it at Survivor Series. But this is my timeline, and this is so. I remember
this
he's
is so
champion
impressive.
going
Good, if you
into
go
Mania.
through that era, it changed
It's
every week.
every week, every
Yeah.
fucking week.
But that was fun, you know, because
It
like
was,
I
'cause you
remember
didn't
I
know.
lived
To an
and
extent.
died by the Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. If you can get overkill, but
Right.
there's a happy medium. There's
That's what I'm
absolutely
saying,
a
yeah.
happy medium.
Find a balance. Have it change more than it does, but don't
Yeah.
have it change as
There's
much as it did
absolutely
the
happy
Attitude
medium.
Era.
And don't make it predictable.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, like Cody this
However,
year, we kind of saw it coming, but
The last time they made it unpredictable, Jinder Mahal was world champion, and people did not like that.
You don't have to get that unpredictable.
I'm just
okay?
saying.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm not
say.
talking about. I'm not saying put it on Jinder Mahal. You know, because you're trying to appease to your Indian. You know,
Right. Because you just
viewership.
signed
Yeah,
a deal
exactly.
with their TV market there. and
We're
you're
still
trying to-
paying for that.
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
you, we're still paying for that, Jinder.
And that's no knock on Jinder
No,
Mahal.
it's no
I
fault
love
of his,
Jinder
no.
Mahal.
He
He's
actually had
great.
a great run.
He did,
He
man.
was.
His character
Yeah.
was pretty
Minus-
fucking hateable.
Minus
and
the
it was-
racist
that
stuff
made
with
it good.
Shinsuke
Yeah.
Nakamura. That was a bit too much.
Yeah, but he did.
Especially the fact that he won. Like, if you're going to go racist like
I
that,
know,
let
I
Shinsuke
know,
then win.
Exactly.
Yeah, I also love that Jinder Mahal is just Canadian. Like,
Yes.
he's just
That's
a Canadian,
also the
yeah.
best part about
He's a
that.
Canadian.
That he's from
dude.
Toronto.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, all right, fuck
Right.
it, Indian. Let's do this.
I mean, technically he is. Like, that's where his family's
No, I
from.
know, but
yeah,
it's
he's
funny.
Canadian.
You go all in. I don't know.
No, I mean, they bill him as being from somewhere in India.
Yeah.
I forget where off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, dude's
But
from.
when you hear him talk, you're just like,
That's Canadian as
you
fuck.
sound like Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Isn't Tavari also from Canada? I
I
think.
believe he
he's
is,
Canadian
yeah.
as well.
Or Northern
Yeah,
America.
Yeah.
Not the Great Khali though.
No, he is from India.
Yes.
Also held up the world title upside down.
Also,
Which was the best.
That's the
That's
best
one
thing
of the
ever.
best pictures of
He
all
also
time.
did a stint in
Yeah.
prison with Adam Sandler too.
Yeah, he did. Also held up Jinder Mahal's world title like he won it
Yeah.
in that last Punjabi prison match. Also the best picture of all time.
Also walks like current Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and always did.
current Fat Joe as well.
Ah,
I see him.
damn.
His legs are. I saw him walking the other day, and he's so like just cocked and bow-legged.
Flaney
And it's
loves bringing up
because he
Fat
just
Joe.
carried so much weight.
Yeah.
He's been in the media a lot the last week or so for saying some shit he wasn't supposed to say, but I don't know.
It's just I just think about that picture with Big Pun.
it's
Those
still the
fucking
best
suits.
picture ever. The amount of fabric.
Yeah, shout out to Fat Joe.
He was
I
wearing
think,
that curtain essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly, this
yeah,
might be
pretty
this
much.
might be small on him.
Yeah, I actually got this on eBay. These curtains.
These are the suits.
Yeah, these were the suits from the fucking VMAs that year.
Oh, God.
These are weirdly both just the right leg.
Literally, and also the same exact color.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. We're about an hour in. I don't even think we talked about anything from Raw this week.
Well, we talked about how we didn't remember what happened on SmackDown. Does that count?
Yeah, SmackDown is
That
still,
counts for
still
sure.
losing me. I'm gonna start writing this down.
I tell myself that every week, and
I'm gonna
then
start
I
writing
don't.
this down.
I saw somebody mention something that made a lot of sense too. Is you have SmackDown on USA, Raw on Netflix, NXT on CW, PLEs on Peacock, everything else on Netflix.
Money.
Well, Raw's on Netflix.
No,
I think
Raw's on
that's
Netflix.
it.
So,
If you're, especially if you're in other countries, you get Raw.
Yeah.
You get everything on Netflix if you're in other countries. Because I heard them say that the other night. You get NXT.
Do they?
Yeah, I heard them say that on Raw. They were like, also, if you live in
international.
this
That must
country,
have
you
been
get it
one
all.
of one of the segments we didn't get to see.
No,
I
that
saw
was an
that.
actual segment.
I saw your
That
prices are
was
going
real.
up, bitch.
Yes, I know. I read that. I
Motherfucker.
was like, who fucking called? Who called the man and said raise these fucking prices on
I
this
might have
asshole?
sent them a clip.
You bastards.
I might have sent them a clip and be like, fuck this.
Yeah, I felt like there was more of those types of things this week. Like there was Karrion Kross one. There was a couple backstage again with Kathy Kelly that were just.
Nope.
Yeah.
You know what? I might have been convinced to upgrade to the premium because I didn't realize it's really not that much of a price difference.
Is it? I still
No.
don't know what
No,
I'm paying.
it's really not.
so-
It's only like maybe an extra $5 a month, which I mean, at
It's
the end of
not
the
bad.
day, like what the fuck? They just
I
raise the
know.
prices
I
again.
know.
Like,
It's gonna
That's
happen
the thing,
anyway.
though. It's
I
$5
actually have a
month.
reason to have it.
It's $5 a month now. What's it being raised up to?
They raise the prices every 2 years.
No, I know they do.
Which is
That's why
crazy.
people.
It's insane.
That's why they've been losing numbers.
Well,
Kudos
they,
to those people.
I mean, they're
'cause it's
still
like,
the top. Don't get
If
me
you're
wrong.
like
but
in the side, it's like you're a wrestling fan. You can't get rid of Netflix.
no, I know.
No.
That's
you
the worst
can't.
part
You
about
cannot. It's not even
it.
an
Literally,
option.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Before
insane.
the deal was signed, I was contemplating because I watched
I
nothing
watched
on
very
Netflix.
I don't
little
watch
Netflix.
shit, dude. I don't
Oh,
watch
Very
outside of
little on
Str- I'm
Netflix.
like, you know what? Once Stranger Things ends, I'm probably gonna get
Very
rid of Netflix.
little, yeah.
Then
Brother.
WWE signed. I was like, fuck you, Netflix.
Yeah,
Now I gotta stay.
very little there.
I legit, when it comes to, like, I used to really love watching shows. Me and my wife were big into shows. Even before me and my wife were together, I was always big into watching shows. Dude, I don't watch shit anymore, bro. I
don't
watch
watch
sports and I watch wrestling. That's
Yeah,
literally
know,
it.
and
I
that's
don't
all
watch
feel like
fucking
I have
shit.
Time for. My wife very much feels that way, and even now we got YouTube TV, so we'll watch a lot of the like fucking 90 Day Fiance shit.
Yeah.
She likes that comes on cable that we can just watch on YouTube TV that we would have had to go on to like a Hulu or another thing before. We don't
Yeah.
have to now. So yeah, I don't watch nearly as much as I used to.
No, we don't have the time. Like tonight, we're gonna finish recording. I'm gonna go upstairs. It's gonna be already probably 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm gonna eat dinner. She's got to work 12 hours tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know,
I was
just
gonna
because
say,
I'm
yeah,
daddy daycare
adults,
right
and I
now.
was gonna say also becoming a dad.
Right.
You're
Have
not
a-
gonna
have
get
a
to watch
baby.
a lot of television until your daughter is old enough to where she doesn't want to be in the house watching anything.
Yeah,
You guys,
then I'll
so
be like, all right, fine. I can
hopefully
finally
that
catch
doesn't
up
happen
on
for at least 18 years.
I can finally watch The
25
Sopranos.
minimum. Yeah, so I can finally watch The Sopranos. Sadly, it is a show I've never seen.
Another
I know
really
that's
good.
what I said.
There's another good. I was talking to my nephew because he just watched The Sopranos. There's a new mafia movie coming out with De Niro and Pacino and all of them in March.
Oh,
It looks
God.
really fucking good in the trailer.
Really?
Yeah. I hope it's not as long
One
as
last ride.
fucking The Irishman.
Yeah.
Took
No
two
more
sittings.
CGI.
Or hopefully
Two
they do
fucking
better
sittings
with
of
the
The
CGI
Irishman.
if they do
Yeah,
that.
I know.
God
So,
That
but
was
it
so
looked.
bad.
It's
My favorite thing about that is
not
they
Jimmy Hoffa, I forget who it
CGI
is.
De Niro's face to make him look 20 years younger.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where he's supposed to beat the shit
Yeah,
out of some
so
guy,
bad.
and you're like, they didn't CGI those movements. That motherfucker still looks 90 years old the way he's kicking that dude.
That was the funniest because like after that movie came out, you know, it was supposed to be like this big thing.
Yeah.
That was the only thing people talked about for like the
Yeah.
first week.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
you couldn't fix that.
Right.
Of all the things, you couldn't fix that.
Yeah, that thing was so highly touted. And
Yeah.
like,
I mean, it's good.
It is
But like,
solid,
it's.
but I don't
I'm never
watch
going to
it.
rewatch it.
yeah,
don't
this
watch
new
it.
one.
I
I
don't
forget
wanna
what it is.
sit
It's
through a
basically
3.5
two
hour
mob
movie.
bosses who were at wits end. I forget.
I'm
which
actually
ones,
sad
don't know,
because
but-
I do love following shows. I just feel like by the time I catch up to them, and like now, you know, when I worked on the radio, it's like I had a
Yeah, you had a reason.
I had
to
kind
have
of
to
like a
be
reason to
little
keep
more.
up with like shit that was happening in pop
Right.
culture. Now I'm like, dude, I like what I like.
Yeah.
Fuck everything else.
Yep.
But yeah, Raw this week. I did like. So Jay and Gunther
Yep.
went at it again.
That was fun.
That was cool. I love the drone shot from the beginning right
Yeah.
into Jey Uso's intro, and then Jay yeeting with that little kid.
Oh,
that was
with
cool.
the little guy
That
on the
was awesome.
stage.
That was really cool. That was a
man.
cool
That
moment.
kid lit up.
Yeah.
All-time moment for that kid. Like he's
That is
gonna
a
remember that for
core
the rest of his
memory.
life.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they're doing a good job hyping the matchup, but again, none of us believe it's gonna actually.
No. I will say, and I mentioned it in our group text, I love the hockey collab
Yeah.
shirts
Yes.
that he's
Yeah.
had.
Yeah,
I
Those
love
are
that he's going
so
hockey.
Yes, same.
Yes.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
He could have done Cowboys.
Could have done Cowboys.
I mean,
Could
San
have
Jose
done
ain't
Mavs.
nothing, but
like
yeah.
he's in the same arena the Mavs
Yeah.
play.
Yep.
Could have done Mavs, but he went stars, and it's awesome.
I agree. I think that makes it just feels different. It
Yeah.
feels intentional and feels cooler.
Yeah.
I guess.
'Cause of the
than
ice,
If it were,
'cause they
yeah,
play
it
on
just
ice.
it makes sense. It just makes so much sense.
Yeah, it's chilly
It
in
makes
there.
Right.
sense. Yeah.
No, I think it is cool, and I like that they're doing that town by town. It reminds me of like the Suplex City when
Yeah.
they would,
Yeah.
whatever city he was
Yep.
in, they would put the city on
Yeah.
there. But shout out to main event Jay, and then Punk's promo was cool.
Yeah. That one was one.
So you saw that one?
Yeah. That
okay,
was,
you guys caught that? You
that
caught
was
that on
one
the
of
perch
his
with
first-
Jackie Redmond?
That was
That
like-
made it to us
Just making
peons.
sure.
Yes.
Making sure you got
That
that
was
one.
one that I was watching. And I'm like, are we supposed to see this? Is this supposed to be for the
Did
other people?
I creep through? Did it come to me?
yeah.
For a second, I thought that too. I'm like, fuck, I hope. And I was like,
'Cause that
nah,
was-
it's CM Punk.
Is that
And
far-
even his entrance
Yeah.
coming in the way
Yeah.
he did, I'm like, this has to be.
Because also, as far as I remember, that was the only, for us at least, the only Jackie Redmond appearance.
yeah,
throughout
so
the
she
whole
did
show
one
was
with
that
Karrion
segment.
Cross
Yeah.
up on the
Yeah,
perch.
didn't see that.
Did she
Fuck
do
that
another one?
perch.
Yeah.
Bring up this perch
Right.
every week.
It's
Like,
the
what's this
perch, I know.
Well, it's where CM
It's
Punk
where
is
CM
standing.
Punk is. That was the
Oh,
new
that's
perch.
where it was?
That's the
perch.
perch.
Oh,
Yeah. Because then I
okay.
saw it. I'm like,
It's
oh, this
just
is the
like-
perch that we don't
It's basically
see.
like where the handicap like seating is
Yeah, yeah,
between
yeah.
the
Oh,
railing.
the
That's
perch.
essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes.
We're in. We've
So
seen
in the
it.
Intuit
Yeah.
Dome, it looked a lot more official. This, you could tell it was just the railing because the people are walking up and down the stairs
Yeah,
right behind
yeah,
her. But yeah, so that's all that is. So, and I think it was Karrion Cross. I don't know. I think JD and them were last week. I don't think anybody else. Man, that might have been the only perch one. There was one backstage with Kathy Kelly, where she was talking to American Made.
Okay,
You
that
saw
one
that
made-
one.
yeah,
Okay,
I
you
saw
saw
that
that one.
Where
They're like back behind her and they come over
Yeah.
and they're like, Gable's like, I've been losing, but we're gonna
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
around, and
Yep.
she's gonna win the IC and we're gonna win the tag.
She's
And
like, I'm going to go talk to Dominic Mysterio.
Yes, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
talk. Yes.
Yes, saw that.
That was funny. And then at the
Yep.
end, when he leaves the clubhouse, he's like, I'm going to go study the dark arts of Lucha Libre.
yeah. He's great.
He's
so
so
good.
good.
Yeah,
He's so good.
He's good
so
in
funny,
everything.
man. He's such a good hand.
They need to give him more.
Kofi without a mustache.
Yep.
L.
But it fits the character because it's
It
just,
does.
it's looks
His
so
match
nasty.
with Ray. L.
Yeah, it was all right.
Wasn't as good as Owens and Ray.
Right.
That was
Do
really
you
good.
think that bump on the outside when he went to go like sunset flip him or some shit on the
Where he
to-
powerbombed himself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that was fucked up? Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And he was like, all right. Ugh,
Ray,
kicked him in the stomach.
yep.
Ray literally powerbombed himself. Like,
Yeah.
you could tell he was going to try to do something, and Ray just flipped. And he was like, I don't have you.
That match kind of made me sad. I'm not gonna lie.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
it was.
It
Wasn't-
was not good, and they teased like the New Day was supposed to fight like a mysterious tag team or some shit.
That was supposed to be the match with Penta and Ray from a few weeks
It
ago.
was supposed to be Raw.
That was supposed to be
one.
the debut of
Oh.
Penta, and I guess they said because they went over time they cut it, but I don't think that was why. They
How does
cut
that even make any sense?
Exactly.
No, they.
I feel like they
I
had
think
cut
they
that
originally
before.
cut the tag match because they wanted Penta to have a
I'm
better
glad they
debut.
cut it. I'm glad in
100%
hindsight
agree.
they cut it because it would not have had the same effect as it did him by himself against Gable. Even like him versus fucking Butch, cutting off Butch was amazing. You guys got that right?
Yes.
Yes.
That was fucking so funny because at first I'm like, what's wrong with my stream? Why did
Yeah.
they just cut him off mid
his
sentence?
ass
And
off.
then he comes back and Cole said it, and it was so perfect because the promo he's cutting. I was like, that shit is good. Like little things like that, I
Yeah.
love because it's very intentional to that character. And like while it's technically a slight to him, it's actually not. It props him up so well to put him there.
Mm-hmm.
So and another example of someone who can work their ass off and is a great worker that they trust out there with Penta.
Yeah.
Done another good match. I didn't think it was quite as good as the Gable match, but I
No,
thought it was
but it was
still
really
a good
good.
match. Yeah.
It made me realize, like, Pete Dunne deserves more than what
So
he
much,
gets. So
man.
right
But
now.
yo,
He's
when he
so
was
good.
the fucking bruiserweight,
Yeah.
and he was
Yeah.
fucking coming out carrying the belt in his fucking teeth, like, oh my
need
god,
to-
he was so over.
I
Yes.
thought he was the next
so
like
over.
Finn.
I thought he was
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Well,
him,
he kinda- fortunately, kinda
Tyler
has been.
Bate. Yeah,
In a way, yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Not in a good way.
Finn is at least still involved in like main
know.
event
Right.
storylines ish.
Now.
you know, with the
There was that period where he was
back
just
to
there.
NXT.
Oh
and
yeah, it
shit.
was kind of nasty.
I
Speaking
would
of
love.
which,
I would
Sheamus
love for Pete Dunne to go back to NXT. To be
Oh
honest
my
with
god,
you.
he
That would
works
be
for a lot
awesome.
of people.
Yeah.
With
I
Sheamus, I don't know what they're doing with that.
I don't
Braun
know either.
Breaker. I mean,
I think he's. I want him to be the one to beat
I think
Braun,
he's gonna
but like
be the
save
one
it for
to-
Mania.
I think he's gonna. Yeah, I
Because it's
think
the only
they're
title he's
getting him.
missing for his
I know, but
Grand Slam.
do you
Let him
want-
have
do
it.
you want
It's a
Braun
good
to
moment.
lose to him? And shout out to Sheamus, but like,
Not this week, but
I
you
don't,
do
yeah,
that match
I
at
don't even
Mania.
know that I'd want to see that at
I don't know
Mania.
if I want to see it.
I think I'd rather see him drop to Sheamus before Mania, and then fucking him win it back at Mania. Like I don't, and I know that probably wouldn't happen, but yeah, I don't, and I love Sheamus, 100%, my fellow Irishman. But I don't know. It doesn't.
I want Braun
at
to
the
be-
moment. It doesn't excite me because it's Braun.
Yeah.
If it was someone else, I'd be all for it. But I don't know.
So here's the main reason I want it. One, so Sheamus can finally be IC champion, but also so Braun can then move up to the world title.
But that's
picture
what
where
I'm
he
saying,
deserves
but
do
to
you
like-
be
think
right
he's
now.
right? But do you think there's room
I-
for him in that title picture right now? Do you think?
I think
World
after
title,
Mania
yes.
there will be.
Maybe.
I think you move him and Gunther to SmackDown. You move Cody to Raw because I think Raw is going to be the show of the big stars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Right,
Netflix
exactly.
is yes.
So him and Gunther running programs on
Oh,
SmackDown.
sign me the fuck up for that.
Ilya
but I
Dragunov
think-
comes back
Is there
also on
nobody else
SmackDown.
in front of him in
Oh,
line?
man. I think that's who he should drop it to at Mania.
Yeah,
If
that'd
he's
be
healthy,
cool.
though. I don't
If
know
he's
what. I
healthy.
don't know
How
if he's
long
back.
is? What injury was it?
His knee. I think he
Okay.
tore
God, I
his ACL.
forgot how much I miss him.
I know.
He's so
You
good.
just reminded
oh my
me.
god, so good.
Because Braun against Ilya at the fucking WrestleMania and Dragunov taking the title off of him and letting Braun go That to me
That'd be cool.
would be the dream situation for the IC title.
I wouldn't be mad
at
at
Mania.
However, I would love Dragunov to be the one to beat Gunther, just because their feud.
But you could
is
always
so
do it.
fucking good.
That exists already, though. But I think like if you want to send Braun on his merry way into like the heavyweight title contendership, that a word?
Yeah, that's a word. Good word.
And then Ilya we know was on his way.
yeah,
Like
he
him
was.
and Braun were going
He
back
was
and
right
forth.
there, man.
I think that would give him, and then you still always have the Gunther in your back pocket.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
just.
I would like to see, and it's not going to happen. I think for pretty obvious reasons at this point, the way he's been billed is I would love to see Carmelo also
Yes.
be the person to take it
Yes.
from Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
because
but then
they
he
had
still
a
gets
nice
shit
little
on.
storyline in NXT that they could pick up on, that they could do some fun stuff. But yeah, he's still clearly in like this very gimmicky, like
Miz.
I was about to say R-Truth-ish type of vibes in
Yeah.
terms of like he's just a comedy act, but then he goes out there and puts on bangers, and with his work rate, and I'm like, this guy deserves more.
yeah,
I stand by what I said last week. Let him have the Iron Man spot in the Rumble.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think that could help. I think that could turn him around.
Yeah,
Big
He
moments,
needs something.
few
And
big
look
spots.
what it did to Gunther. He,
needs
entered
something.
one and went all the way to the final two with Cody. I'm not saying Carmelo has to go that long, but give him like an
Could-
hour
and you
in the
also
Rumble.
could too, where
Have him be one
say
of the final five.
Trick is
Yeah.
in the Rumble, he throws Trick out. Hey, welcome to the big leagues, guy.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
Trick stays, and then you can pick that feud back up.
Yeah.
And that could be fun, and that'll obviously put a
Yeah.
lot of people in seats and just be enjoyable. Doesn't need to be for a belt or anything.
No.
You can let it build and do some things.
But it also could be if you then put the IC
It could-
title on
exactly,
Melo,
it could be,
and now
yeah.
Trick comes
So-
up and faces him for the IC title.
so
Melo
like-
gets his win back.
Yeah, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
that-
There's a
that
lot.
feud can
You
go-
exact
that's
that
so
one.
much
That
legs
one,
to it.
like you already got it. Like that
Yeah.
playbook is written. Like that's set to go. So, yeah, I'd love to see more of a Mellow push. I
Same.
think he's obviously deserving, and I think no fault of his own. He's just
No.
kind of got lost in the shuffle here.
Yeah, there was a lot happening in regards to movement, and then you had the Netflix deal lurking and that show starting, and so Carmelo kind of came up at the bad
Oh,
time.
yeah.
After Mania last year, shit got weird
Yep.
because obviously we knew about Netflix and a lot of
Right.
things, and
But I mean, Melo was the perfect. Really, as much as I love Shinsuke, like Melo should have taken the
Yes.
US
yeah,
title
no, I
shot
agree with that. Yeah,
from LA Knight.
Shinsuke was a random. Who's doing good work right now.
100%.
yeah,
I
like,
give
but-
them so much credit. I sadly had lost all faith in Shinsuke,
Same.
like a resurgence of
Same, yeah.
especially
After he dropped,
a
like, the
similar
IC title
character.
or whatever it was,
I
it's
thought
weird.
like fuck. I think the run's over. Like honestly, I was like I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him in WWE anymore, and he goes to AEW or even back to Japan. But this new resurgence, and again, small little tweaks to the character made all the difference, and now it's at least a lot more believable of him being deserving of that spot. So I don't know. Again, so stacked.
Yes.
So wherever you go, but yeah, there's gonna need to be a nice little reset of, I guess, kind of like the tiers.
Yeah.
Where you are, what belt you're contending for, a little fluidity, and then you're always gonna have those couple tweeners who can go from here and jump up or kind of come back down as needed.
I think post Mania stuff's gonna clear. They're gonna do
Yeah.
a draft again,
Yep.
more than likely, and I think stuff will start to shape
It's
up.
just interesting that people are moving now. Like
Yeah,
Bayley,
the
I
transfer
don't like
thing,
that.
I don't like it
Nia
either.
Jax,
It's
like-
just hard to keep up with,
Right.
Yeah.
especially when you got, especially like Bailey. Bailey's been on every show the last 2
Right,
weeks.
yeah.
She's been everywhere.
So it's Nia
Literally
Jax.
every
kind
show.
of like
But I mean,
it's-
Bailey's even been on NXT.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Every-
true,
like
yeah.
literally every show.
And you
she's
got
been
like
on.
now Roxy's been at the shows. Did you
Right.
see Roxy kick the person who I think was just a regular fan sitting
Just
on the
the-
end of that
yeah.
row?
Yeah.
As they picked her up, she just like kicked her, and the woman went flying off her chair. I was like, this is amazing. She's smiling. She looked like she was.
I
all for
love
it.
that.
Could have been a plant.
It could. That was my first thought, but then rewatching back, I'm like, I don't know.
It's funny how like they're just doing this whole like how every UFC event they always show, hey,
Yeah,
this
so-and-so
champion
seen.
is in the crowd today. This up and comer, this like
Yep.
number one contender. They're doing the same shit. Like
Yep.
it's like
Right.
you can see the TKO influence
100%.
on the WWE like production.
It's just weird that they do that on a show where they're announcing, "Oh, this is the highest skate we've ever had." And it's like, yeah, but this is a seat you didn't
Yeah,
sell.
exactly.
Yeah,
This is a
like-
seat you're literally saving for
You're
a
a
wrestler.
superstar.
superstar.
rows you
Pay
didn't-
for the
yeah.
seat or not?
Right,
Because that
exactly.
means all those other people are paying a lot more for their seats.
Right. 'Cause that- you're just admitting you're price gouging us.
Yeah, exactly. So I just find that funny, those little things. What else from this week?
I'm trying to think before.
Clearly,
the
I
main event.
prepared.
Yeah.
It's been a week.
Main event, yes, but I'm trying to think what else of purpose happened before the main event. The JBL thing, it was nice to see JBL back, but for what point? What
Yeah,
was the point?
because they were in Texas.
What there
Like,
was
I feel like that's
nothing.
all
They
it
had
was.
the little backstage rub with New Day,
Where he
and
tried to
then-
bribe him.
and he put
For
the money, and then
$2.
obviously they.
Right.
But like nothing came of it. I was honestly thinking he was gonna when they started beating Ray down, I thought he was gonna be to get up and give that same lariat he's been giving out to fucking Nick Nemeth and TNA.
Right.
And I was like, this is a perfect, and he didn't move an inch. And I don't know, it was just weird. He needs a bigger cowboy hat. He took the hat off and he had the biggest red spot on his forehead. His hat didn't fit. He also just seemed like a little slower and lethargic than usual.
Could have been hungover.
Maybe
TNA Genesis was the night before,
maybe
so
that was the
he's
case.
celebrating.
But yeah, it just I felt like you could have did more.
Yeah.
It was a random return.
100%. It
whatever.
I think it was just because they were in
random as
Texas.
Fuck,
Yeah.
We're in Texas. Let's
And
bring
also
out
no
JBL.
McAfee, like his
Right.
little pop, give you a little juice.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Corey Graves, I guess all things are good there. He was-
I missed NXT this week, so I
Yeah, so
still
did I.
need to catch it. But I did see that he was back.
and he was
So-
happy to be there.
Okay.
Said it's where he wanted to be. He wouldn't want to be anywhere else. As there was
So
some
the
like,
work is on.
so-
The
yeah,
work
so
is
we got
on
work.
is
So
what we're
maybe I got
saying.
worked. Maybe I got work.
We've pivoted to the
Okay.
work. Whether it started or not, I think 100% it's very fair to think it started as a shoot. But I think everyone was like, all right, this can be good for business and we'll use this. And even Graves. Graves is probably looking at that like, okay, this is going to be better for me in the long run. So I hope it is a fun work. If it does culminate with him and McAfee at Mania, sign me up because that'll just be fun, or any sort of thing that can come from it. But yeah, obviously I hope Graves sticks
It'd
around.
be really interesting if we get him and McAfee, because like one of the other ones I thought they were. It doesn't feel so much like it anymore, but one of the matches I thought they might be building to Mania was Drew versus Barrett.
Yeah,
And I was like, man, imagine
I
if
thought that a few
both
months back too.
color commentators come back and have a match at Mania.
Tag match? Can you?
That would
no,
be
you,
weird.
Maybe you should
Because
put
Drew and
McAfee
Pat
in.
together would be a
True.
weird
that
team.
also feels like a
Would
waste
be
of
funny.
Drew.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
100%. But it did. There was like
At the time, it felt like that's what they were gonna do.
when Wade, I mean, a few times Wade was like complimenting him, and he was in his promo calling out Wade,
Right.
and it felt very much like he was going to come back and get in the ring. But I feel like in the last year that's cooled off.
It's
That's
like they
definitely cooled
definitely
off.
would have had to keep going
Yeah,
with
that's
it, because I
definitely
think
cooled
it
off
could
in
have
the last
gotten
few
to a
months.
point where it wouldn't have felt like
Yeah.
a waste for Drew. Where now it does. I agree.
It could have been fun. I have no idea if or when Drew wants to get back in the ring, or if he can. I have
Wade.
no. Wait, sorry, I have no idea if or
Yeah,
when. So,
me neither.
but it'll be cool. I mean, he certainly looks like he can.
Yeah.
But.
Two former women superstars in the news this past week. Charlotte Flair's been popping up everywhere. Teaser videos bouncing
Those abs,
everywhere.
man, our washboard.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking at.
Well, I did look at her face, but there's been a lot of work there.
Oh no, yeah, she's
That's
had a
the
lot of
last
work
time we
top to
saw
bottom.
her.
Yeah, for
and that's
sure.
fine. Good for you.
God bless her.
You reserve the right to do whatever you want with your body, Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's clearly in great, amazing shape. But I did notice that at first. I was like, who is that? Okay.
So we're almost expecting a Rumble,
It's
I
gotta be
think
the
so,
Rumble,
yeah.
right?
and then
Are you guys liking these like vignettes leading? I kind of wish there was radio silence.
yeah,
just
I,
popped up.
I,
Yeah,
I
just
kind
have
of
her
I
wanted
would
it
have
to be
loved
that
for the
way
music
too.
to just hit and be like,
Yeah.
oh shit, and see her in that.
She's gonna add
first-
an instant main event like
I have this bad feeling that these vignettes are going to end with her announcing, "Oh, I'm going to be in the Rumble," because fucking
Probably.
everybody's
Oh,
doing it
no,
now.
yeah.
So not even like let it be a surprise.
Can
Well-
she do it in person at least? That would
that
feel
would
a
be
little
better, yeah.
better.
Here's one where we're getting kind of the opposite. Is that Alexa Bliss
Yes.
has been in the news, and apparently like they're removing a lot of her presence from websites and stuff like that.
So
Shutting it down.
rumor is she wants a new contract.
Right.
Okay.
There's a
She's
contract
very-
dispute.
They're like, well, honor this one, and she's like, no, give me a new contract.
Yeah.
And she's very like, I'm not doing shit until you give me a new
It's
contract.
been 2 years. Her last match was at
Yeah,
the
it's
Rumble
been
in
a
23.
while.
Yeah, because then she got pregnant right after
Pregnant, and she went through some health issues and
Yep.
stuff like that. But now, could this be one of your surprise returns at the Rumble? Because when in wrestling time, what is it? 8-10 days
Yeah. Oh,
is
that's
a fucking lifetime.
That's a
Yeah.
lifetime.
They can get a lot of shit done in 10 days.
Yeah.
I will say, in no slight to Alexa Bliss, love her, think she's great, would love to have her back. I don't know that you can, but I don't know that it's the best strategy to be haggling over contract when you've been going for 2 years and the women's division has been amazing.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's
all
like one of
these
the best
new
it's ever
people
been.
have come up and become stars and it's in a great place in the NXT women's division is the best women's division in all of wrestling. Like I don't know that you have all the leverage you might have had another time.
Yeah, but I also respect her knowing her worth and standing
Yeah.
pat on it.
Yeah.
Being
That's
like,
fair.
no,
That's
this
fair.
is what I'm worth, so fuck you, pay me.
So
In the immortal words of Goodfellow,
Yeah.
fuck you, pay me.
she also probably feels a little bit type of way of Liv Morgan becoming what she's
Yeah,
become,
for
because
sure.
she's kind of like Liv Morgan's kind of like Alexa Bliss light.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same stature, same kind of like same everything. Like,
Yeah.
they're very
To an
similar.
extent.
Yep.
You know, they're very similar in the way they move, their in-ring work, their whatever. Liv is a little more like sassy, but and Alexa Bliss is more of like kind of like a badass. But
Lex was
And
more
a
like
better
that
worker,
creepy.
too.
Well, she ended up
did like
becoming
that
that.
horror type stuff.
yeah, when she she ended up collaborating with Bray Wyatt.
There's like a lot of
Yeah.
people thought she would be part of the Wyatt Six.
Yes.
Which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely don't think is going to happen now that they're on
I thought
They're on
SmackDown.
so,
SmackDown,
I thought so
yeah.
too, but
Mitch, that's already going.
Which-
on.
I know that's another one.
Off
Oof.
track a bit, but yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I mean, they're the type of stable that I think that gimmick you can easily get it back quickly.
Yeah.
But like, man, did that
I
cool
know.
off so fast?
Yeah,
And
we
I
were
feel
all
like
in
even
on
like
that,
with, I
too.
think Karrion Cross, they might have mentioned it in that promo yesterday. It didn't air. I remember that it was either him or yes, it was, because they were like they mentioned something about the Miz, and then Jackie was like something along the lines of like in the Wyatt Six, and he's like, "Oh, we're done with that," and walked away. And I was like, "Yeah, I think we're all done." With
Yeah,
that.
I think
What
that
the
was
fuck?
Especially now that they're on two separate brands.
Making
And
a
apparently,
statement there.
Apparently, that storyline is brand exclusive. That can't jump ship like other ones.
Like
do.
all the other ones,
Right.
every single other one,
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally.
it's a shame, man, because
Yeah, they kind of
everything
flubbed
we
that
saw
one.
has been great. It's
Yeah.
just we just want to see it.
Right.
But
They do very little with it.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's like such a production that it's not time consuming. Obviously, it's something you'd spend time on, but I wonder if it's just so much that goes into every little thing with them that they're just kind of like,
But I feel like so much of that stuff could be pre-recorded backstage.
Oh, yeah,
promos that
100%,
You have time to
100%.
record.
I think that camera's about to die. But they also are a stable that has to
Probably.
have a purpose.
yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
They're like a.
You can't just throw them in there for
The
whatever.
whole mantra
Yeah.
is like family and being right by them and stuff. So
No, they should, man. And I feel, especially, I'm thinking of like Bo Dallas. It's a shame.
Yeah.
I can imagine him more than anyone, but all of them, because of their connection to Bray, wanted this to work, and it came out the gate so hot and worked well, and it's just fucking fizzled, man.
they'll figure it out. I'm
I
gonna,
hope so.
I'm,
I
I'm
hope
gonna
so.
hold out hope.
I'm hopeful. It's like I said, it's something that can easily be lit back up because
Yeah.
it's such a unique thing. But like, they gotta do something with it.
Yeah.
They do.
Saturday night's main event is going down this Saturday. The Royal Rumble 1 week from Saturday. It's going to be jam packed.
I'm so pumped for the Rumble. I think I like Rumbles more than Mania nowadays.
I've
There's
always
something
been that
about
way.
him.
There is
I've
an
been that way
excitement.
since a kid.
There
Yeah,
is an
Rumble's always
excitement.
popped me. It's always been like Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, and or Survivor. I think maybe Survivor Series is in there too. But there's honestly been times where I was younger where like Mania was forward for me. Like I loved Rumble because of what it was. I love Survivor Series because the more gimmicks of them, and SummerSlam because I never had to worry about fighting to
Yeah.
stay up because
Yep.
it was the summer. So
Summertime.
like that always stuck with me.
SummerSlam
So-
was always the best.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it, and I'm very curious to see what happens on Saturday. I don't think much storyline
I don't think any
bullshit.
really.
I don't think so.
And next week we're gonna save some of our Rumble predictions.
Yep.
We're gonna do that next week because I do have some.
Oh, yeah, I do too. Should we? Because we did it for Mania. Should we do our top 5 favorite Rumble matches next week?
I like that.
I dig it.
Specifically, the
Matches,
Rumble
not
match.
the, not the
The
Royal
Rumble,
Rumble. Wait,
yeah.
no.
No, the Rumble
Royal
match
Rumble
itself.
match.
So,
Yes.
so you
Actual
pick the
Royal
year.
Rumble.
So it'd be like the,
Yes.
95,
07
96.
Rumble or something like that.
How,
Exactly.
but here's what we're gonna do.
I really hope those don't.
Here's
No
what-
offense.
here's
but
what we're gonna do.
Those are not.
We're
Just
gonna
the winner.
fucking
I
do
just
a
like the winner.
draft, so that way we can't double up. We can't both say 01 or 97 or 92.
All right, yeah, I can come up
We'll
with
do
a
a
bunch.
draft, dude. We'll do
Okay.
a random order, snake draft, and we'll do a draft.
All right, I like it.
All right.
Because I already know what my top 3 are as a lock, so like I know I'll get one of those 3.
All right. Well,
Okay.
maybe who
Have to
knows?
do a little research.
Maybe you'll get all 3.
Maybe. I highly doubt it, but
You
maybe.
never know. Maybe you will. All right. This is gonna be a big Rumble week. Rewatch
Yeah.
the Rumbles with us. Next week's gonna be a big show. We're
Yeah.
gonna do a draft for our Rumbles. We're gonna do a Rumble preview, which is fucking gonna be
This
awesome.
is going to be a full. Like I'm so down. Do we just go full Rumble? It's
Yeah,
just gonna be
full
all
Rumble.
next week.
We're
I
going
don't-
full
I
Rumble.
don't see why not.
Rumble.
I don't see why not.
Rumble, young man, Rumble.
Rumble, young man.
We're gonna have 30 people
Rumble, young man,
show up
Rumble.
on this podcast.
Yeah. If we could fit 30 people in this room, dude, that would be a
Well, no,
show
they're
in
gonna
itself.
come
By
in-
the end of
they're
the
gonna
pod,
come in
there's
2-minute
one man
intervals,
standing.
and sometimes
We
some
absolutely
people get
need to have-
eliminated.
We absolutely
We'll
need
have
to
a
have the
Rumble
Rumble on
going.
that.
We'll
for
have
sure.
we'll have No Mercy Rumble
Yep.
going. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with the Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a lot.
Such
Of
I think it's the most
such a
fun
good time,
Teal
man.
there
We got
is.
men's, we got women's. There's a lot to discuss.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a giveaway. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. What are we gonna give away? I don't know.
I don't
Maybe
know.
something from the room. Maybe me as Hollywood Hogan, because I don't even know if I want that anymore.
Oh yeah, that unfortunately has not aged
Just
well.
change the gimmick to what was Brutus the Barber.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like a
Oh, when
Hollywood?
he
He had a
was-
Hollywood NWO phase. You can see.
No,
Fuck
it
yeah.
was
Right?
pre.
It's similar
What the
vibes
fuck was
there,
he
can't
called
you?
when he wore the face paint? It was pre. It was like right when Hogan debuted for WCW.
I don't even know.
I can't even remember what his name was now. I do remember at one point when he was the Booty Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Booty
That
Man.
was-
All right.
what a name.
We're gonna give away the Booty Man.
All right.
What a time.
No promises.
Which, by the way, speaking of face paint, we overlooked the biggest news of the week. Apparently, this is the last year Sting's going face paint.
I just saw that literally before we started recording.
So after this year, when he does like
Appearances
and stuff, he's not going to paint his face anymore.
So then I don't want him.
This
to
is
do
this is the
Yeah,
last year
just-
he's doing it.
Sting. No more appearances then.
Well,
Which
he's
I respect. That's got
I know,
to
oh
be
my
time.
got to be a
God.
lot of work, but also like
So
he's gonna
much.
cash the fuck in this year.
Yes, he is.
Because there's gonna be
So
a
many
lot of
people are
people
gonna-
that are
yeah.
gonna be like, I gotta get this in.
Yeah.
That's all.
Shout out to him, man.
The dude, there was a dude in the front row that he did. AW?
I thought it was him
with
at
the
first.
full fake paint.
Had the
and
full
like,
face,
the
but he
mask
also
off.
had like his hairline.
Yes, everything.
Yeah, mask
and that
off,
dude,
no mask.
that dude is like a big Sting guy because I remember him being at the last match and like I saw something on social
Yep.
where he got like this big embrace with Sting, who showed him a lot of love. So he's obviously a diehard. But I was like, yo, he had that paint was perfect.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
reminded me, I saw a clip of Jeff Hardy, random, on Van Vliet.
Yeah,
And
he had a great
said,
interview on there, yeah.
that he started doing his face paint differently after Umaga. He met Umaga
Yep.
and saw that Umaga used markers.
Yep.
And Jeff was always using like old school like acrylic paint or whatever. And he's like, it saved me so much time. I switched to it right away. And he's like, it's also why later in my career I was able to do the eyelids and a lot more unique things through TNA and like glow in the dark stuff because I went to markers. And he's like, all of that was because of Umaga. I would have never known otherwise. I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool little fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of fun facts in that interview. Shout out to Chris Van Vliet. He's always fucking
He's
killing
the
it.
interviews
best,
are
it's the
so
best
good.
stuff, man.
Dude
Yeah.
just does.
The one he did with the Mustafa Ali recently was so
Yes,
good.
yeah. Yes.
I learned
good.
so
Dude,
much
he
about
has
so
him.
Baron,
much.
Baron Corbin.
I haven't watched that
Even
one
like
yet.
talking
I've
about the
seen clips, but I
name,
haven't
the
seen-
mispronunciation, him supposed to win the
Money in the
Money in the
Bank.
Bank, and how that didn't happen.
Yep.
Like, yeah, that was a
They
good
just
interview.
like use him as like therapy. They
Yeah.
just go on there.
No,
and
it very much
yeah.
feels like that.
Yeah, it's
it does
cool.
because it feels like open and welcoming, and like you can share everything. And like I think Karrion Kross said that. Like a lot of people have been like, no, like you're different than a lot of these other media outlets. We're able to give you more because we feel more comfortable.
Then he's not trying to get you. Like
Yeah,
a
no,
gotcha
it's not exactly.
moment.
He's not trying to bust your
Yeah.
balls,
Just
and he'll
asking
talk
questions
about
he
some
has.
of the difficult,
Yeah, he
harder
will.
things,
That's
but
the
in a
biggest, yeah.
respectful
He'll bring-
way.
Like
Yeah.
for example, Kurt Angle.
Put the
this
ball in
past
your
week.
court. Yes,
Talked about
yeah.
Perk
He
Angle.
talked about
Perk Angle.
Benoit. Yeah, and
And
also
Benoit.
had the Benoit clip too, where he was
Yep.
like, you couldn't really talk about that exactly.
Redacted.
And
name
I
redacted.
thought Angle had the perfect response because he was like, hey, that's what they told us at the time, and I understand at the time. He's like, I do not condone anything he did. It was 100% wrong. He's like, but it happened. And
Yeah.
those are some of my best matches. So not only does it take away from my career selfishly, he's like, but also as a wrestler, he was undeniable. Like
Yeah.
there's nobody who can deny Chris Benoit the wrestler.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
art and artist. Hard.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just hard sometimes.
arguably Jericho. Well, Jericho's best match might be with him, but arguably
Probably.
Angle's second best match of all time at the Rumble, 2003. Him and Name Redacted.
Name
Fucking
Redacted.
killer
Yeah.
match.
no, he
Broken
had
freaking
so
neck.
many fucking great matches.
Yeah.
Great fun show this week. Off the cuff, boys just went in raw dog.
Got to
Good
get a lot
stuff.
off our chest.
Got to get a lot off our chests. It's been a big daddy week for you boy. So I'm sleepy and this was fun. I had a really fun show.
Yeah.
Good luck to your Eagles.
Thank you,
Yes.
Go Birds.
All right. Hopefully this time next week we're talking about them
Yeah.
going soupy.
Hopefully
Yes,
the
I hope
mayor
so.
learns how to spell the name of the team.
I will. I'll take a
Mayor
ride. I'll take a
needs to
ride.
figure it out.
I will
and-
be the sitting mayor of the city of Philadelphia. That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
Big fucking Rumble show next week.
go.
Yes.
Big Rumble show next week. So get ready, get hyped. We'll recap Saturday night's main event briefly at the beginning, and then
Yeah.
it's going
Yeah.
all Rumble. All right, baby. So Rumble, young man, Rumble. We'll see everybody back here next week. Peace.